And I want to start off by telling you one of my most overused words is hate and stupid. I hate things. I love hate. I love it. Sometimes it makes me feel so good to tell you how much I hate something. Or how stupid something is. I love it. It defines me because in order for me to tell you what I hate, I have to know what I love. And I love you. No matter how demented you are, especially when it comes to politics, but I'm going to leave it at that. Because as you know, American politics for the most part is simian. And your vuln is a good word for you. Vuln. The source of your vulnerability is your inability to understand the depth of politics. It's black and white for most people. Manichean, up and down, left and right. Apodictic, good versus bad. Good guys, bad guys. Don't nuance it. I want to know, give me words. Evil, we are good. We are great. We are perfect. And if you don't like it, leave. Go someplace else. That's America. God. It's the way it always has been. And I love that. That's why I don't bother with it. And I let other people go crazy. Oh my God. I sit back and I love because I hate how stupid people are. I mean it. It's so cool. It's so beautiful. In every other walk of life, we find out the ability to say, I was just thinking about something. We play such a variety, a mélange, a pastiche, a mosaic, a myriad, a veritable cornucopia, a slumgullion, a ragu, a gumbo of music during the break. And our dear friend who's in charge, our prefect of discipline, what is your official, what are you, technical, what are you, what is you have some name, prelate, technical prelate, you're a prelate, a prefect, you're a panjandrum, what is your name?
My title?
Your title, yes.
Executive producer?
Executive producer. Not producer. Executive. And I didn't realize because I didn't realize the names. Ooh. What is riffraff? What does he call? Subordinate, minion.
Yeah, well, that was my previous title.
Minion. How about cleric?
I'm officially the associate producer.
Associate. Yes, an associate. And the other day I talked to our good friend Kevin, whose name can be pronounced 8 different ways. Grosh, Gresh, Goish. Umlaut. I said, what are you? He is like operational dictator. I don't even know the name. I'm serious. I don't know these names. I had no idea. So executive producer to me, my friend. That's executive producer. Years ago when we were at the old, not the old, it was WABC, but before your time. We had this fellow who came in and says, I'm going to be a producer. I said, well, because we were very guest heavy. And guest heavy is the sign. It's the easiest thing to do. Oh my God, you can just become a slave to that. Oh God, and then if your guest sucks, then the show sucks. And people think, oh, that's a good idea. I used to work with somebody who used to count how many guests. He would look at the list. How many guests did you have on today? 12. Good show. What? Weird. Oh, my God. Guests are a weird thing. Give it a try some now. But for the most part, you know who the best guests are? The callers. Not all callers. Not the chronics. Not the ones who think it's their show. That's another story. So, but I love doing this. And I have to go to first of all, I go in and I turn off Fox News. Because Fox News is, have you noticed how for some reason, this is terrible. And I don't mean to cause any problems, but for some reason, retarded is okay. Have you noticed that? You notice how retarded? That was always hey, that's the R word. Okay. All righty. It's the R word. Okay. All right. It's the R word. Don't say the R word. I won't say the R word. But it's I know it's a word. Don't say it. You're making fun of our people. Wait a minute. You just said it. No, I did. Yes, you did. You just said our word. Yeah, but I was giving it. No! That's like, no, that you can't use it in a sentence. That's like me saying, don't use the N word because some N might be offended. It's like, wait a minute! You can't say that word! You see how stupid that is? People love that stuff. Well, when can you do it? You can't use it! Don't use that word! Well, now you can use it. I don't know why. Have you heard it? I like libtard. Wait a minute. That's that suffix tard. I know where you're going with that. Watch it, mister. Watch it. I like subtard. That's a new one. It's like, what is that? Wow. Jackwagon. I heard that one. I said, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. The words are so, we love these words. I used to have this friend. How come they can say the N word and we can't? Do you want to use the N word? Oh, no. Well, what's your beef? Well, how come they can use it? Well, why don't you ask them? Who are you talking about? You know. Who? Them. You know. What? We got through this whole thing. Don't you understand that certain groups can also they can self-deprecate? Well, how come white people? Okay, then use it. I don't want to use it. What are you complaining about? We used to talk, oh my God, in the old days, hours about it. Well, okay, can I use that word then? No. We have convention. We have certain things we do and don't do. You can if you want, if you insist. I prefer not to. But that's okay because we always make choices. We have these stupid little rules. I love them. See, that's the whole beauty about it. See, talk radio is so terrific. Oh, my God. I think, here's a very simple rule. I sound like Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray, by the way, here's my FOS. Full up. That's when you are FOS. Actually, O is a preposition mark. FS doesn't. Does it? Yeah, FOS. Okay. Remember they say FOB, friend of Bill. The O, is the O in the initial? And by the way, it's not an acronym. It's an initial. It's an initialism. It's not an acronym. An acronym would be SCUBA, radar, things like that. ATM is not an acronym. Anyway. So, what are we getting at? I have no idea. Literally no idea. I love how people get so upset, especially half-baked. But anyway, Douglas Murray, FOS, who says, but I don't think you should talk about Gaza. Have you been to Gaza? What? Have you been to Gaza? No. Oh, you're talking about sub-Saharan slavery. Have you been to sub-Saharan? No! Oh, I see. So you talk about something. Well, who's been to Gaza? What? A few people. I've never been. I wasn't around during the Civil War. Can I talk about that? Oh, well, I've been to Israel twice. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you could talk about that. Well, I think my favorite is that these people over there, these Iranian people, they live in hell. They live in hell. Pull people off the street of women and beat them because they see your hair and they beat you up and they got the morality police. I said, well, I'm going to show you something here. What is that? Well, it's from people who live in Tehran. What is it? Well, it's a bunch of people. Looks like Europe. That's not real. What do you mean that's not real? Well, this is what's going on now. It's not real. Well, what do you mean it's not real? It's not real. Iran is hell. They're hell. They're evil. Have you been there? I don't go there. What are you talking about, go there? I don't go there. So do I have to go there? Look, I watch Fox News. Damn it, that's all I care about. Or I watch CNN or whatever it is. Well, don't you think they're evil? They're all evil? Yes. I've never been. I don't know. But I love these things. They're all, because the internet's very unforgiving. It tells you, it's like, are you sure about this? You know how you really want to go into a country? This is important. Even if you're an executive or an associate producer, doesn't matter. Go and look at food channels to find out. You want to find out what Alexandria, Virginia is? Go to a food channel. Go to a YouTube thing and say street food in Alexandria. That'll show you. And it looks like, well, this is okay. This is all right. Want to see what Cleveland's like? Yeah, do Cleveland street food because you go into the bowels of Cleveland. So go into Tehran. They have these folks who drive around and you say, well, why do you have long hair? Well, because I do. Aren't you supposed to have a covering? No. Wait a minute. What? There's a fellow who does a food blog. He wears a red bandana. Have you seen that guy? I don't know what his name is, but he wears a red bandana. He's very smart because he's called the guy with the red bandana. And they said, you've been all over the world, right? Yes. He said, what's the worst place you've ever been in terms of constriction of liberty and the most draconian of, like, what's the worst place you've ever been? He said, Egypt. Oh, dear God. I said, Egypt? What's wrong with Egypt? What's wrong with it? You ever been there? No, I haven't been there. So again, I think I didn't hear anything about Egypt. I thought they were pretty cool. Oh, no. And this guy, all he does is he wants to take pictures of like falafel. That's all this guy wants to do. He's, oh God, I'm not going there again. I don't know what they did to him, but he's terrified of Egypt. Then he does. I said, well, let me see if he's done anything on Iran. And they're all over the place. So something's not. I don't know what average folks are, because you know what? Average folks are average folks. Let me ask you a question. If I said, all right, you got one place to take somebody to show them where America is, where would you go? I'm going to take somebody. Say, I want to see what America's like. Well, where? You pick her at the airport. Where do we go? Where do you take them? You got one city, one place. Where would you go? That's right, Riff. That's right, Mr. Associate. But don't give me that look. Don't give me that look. I'll take that associate label from you, and you'll just be a producer. And there's no such thing as that. That's like there's PFC, private, and nothing before private. It's like before the black hole, before the Big Bang. Stephen Hawking said, what's south of the South Pole? I don't know. But if I strip you of that associate thing, you don't even exist. You're a nullity. You're an empty set. Now, where would you take somebody? Where? Texas? That's America. Well, Pennsylvania? How about Scranton? What? New York? I love when people have ideas about New York. They have no idea. They have no earthly idea. We're talking about the city. What borough? What? Queens? You want to go to Queens? You ever been to Staten Island? You think, what is this? Where am I? Could be West Virginia. You look and say, where am I going? This is Staten Island? This is it? Richmond County? The county nobody knows about. Richmond County. What? Where's Richmond County? Staten Island. Really? So where would you take America? I don't know. What best exemplifies our culture? What? I want an answer. Where would you go? You have one place to go. Would you go in Middle America? Would you go to Dayton, Ohio? I don't even know what Dayton, Ohio is. Would you go to New York? No, maybe. Seriously, where would you go? Please, where would you go? You got to make up your mind.
Florida.
Well, you know what? You'll find a lot of people there. Now, I'm from Florida, and you don't know anything about it. It's the biggest, most redneck place you've ever seen in your life. See, because if you go 1,000 feet off of the shore, or whatever, or and by the way, the Atlantic, that's another story. The Gulf is where you go. The West Coast, that's where you want to go. Not the Atlantic, black sand, rocks. No. Sorry. But if you go 1,000 feet in, it doesn't exist. And it's hot. And when you're like, oh my God, you're in Polk County, you're in Lakeland, Kissimmee, Orlando, something off of I-4, you die. You die. When I step off the airport, seriously, when I go to TIA, I feel my IQ drain. I mean it. It's terrible. It's terrible. People say, hey, when are you going to come back? No. And well, we live in Florida. You say, you move there? Well, yeah. I like to play golf. You must. What do you like going to Publix? What are you doing for fun? And people I know, who was it? So many people during COVID, it goes, this is great. We got out of here, went to Florida. And then they said, I got to get the hell out of here. Why? I'm bored out of my mind. I'm not even doing anything and I'm bored. I don't even, put it this way. You know when you're in New York here and you're not doing anything, but you feel like, but I could. You look at the window, look at all this activity, buzzsaws of people running around. If I could, I feel like it's like you stepped off of Times Square into a little coffee shop and you're just watching these people go by. That's what it's like. That's why I love this place. Go to Florida. Oh my God. Oh my God. And bless their heart. Bless their heart. Want to go to Palm Beach? That's nice. Isn't that great? We can go to Mar-a-Lago. That's okay. That's all right. No, really. You want to wear pink pants? And okay, we can walk around and act rich. Okay, go ahead. Floridians don't really talk about Palm Beach. That's like, why would you go there? Because nobody who lives in Florida goes there. Bezos goes there. And Miami's gone through so much trend. By the way, Miami, the city that cocaine built. Don't ever tell me cocaine is bad. Cocaine built Miami. Let me take you some places let's go to Sop Choppy. Can I take you there? Let's go to Sop Choppy, Withlacoochee, Panosofsky, Lake Panosofsky. When you go to Micanopy, how about Dade City with that rattlesnake roundup? When you go there, how about the San Antonio where the Bellamy brothers live? Right around, take you to Ocala, looks like horse country. You won't know where you are. I can tell you take you to Christmas, Florida, where every year, a place called Christmas, Florida. And we would go like sheep, like one year. And my mother said, let's send all our Christmas cards out with a Christmas stamp. They don't even have that anymore. Like her words, the postmark is East Rutherford. I don't know where that. Now they don't even do anything. So we would get in the car, and my father would say, where are we going? To Christmas. And this is before GPS. Where is it? It's that way. Okay. And we'd go there. It's like, and there were all these schmucks lined up at this post office to drop their letters off so they'd be stamped Christmas. One time, I just thought of this. One time my mother, I thought she was going to kill me. I got this, oh, look who it is. Oh, we got a Christmas card from who? Oh, it's the Blaze family. Yeah, I threw it away. I said, aren't you going to open it? I said, it says, Matt Blaze, it's the Blaze family. He's got a return address. Why do I want to open it? He goes, don't you want to see it? No, I don't want it. Okay, let me open it up. Watch this. Guess who this card's from. No. Let's guess. Open it up. Yep, Blaze family. And how about those stupid, I don't know why we're talking about this. I don't know why I'm talking about anything. Because you know why? Because there's nobody here. I could talk about Iran if you want. No. Remember those cards where the family would be together? Here we all are. And people say, boy, she's gotten old. Oh, she put on some weight. You know, you always have these horrible. I want to have like the wrong people. Just hire all these, like, have one of these Bennington Christmas cards. Hire all these kids. Yeah, I need an African American. Yeah, can you wear a turban? Yeah, you're in. Where were you from? Nepal. Close enough. Let's just have this family. Happy Christmas from the Blaze family. Have a bunch of women wearing veils in the back. And you could say, what is this? I haven't seen Matt in a long time. Is this his family? I guess. Does he have 4 wives? Who are all these kids? I don't know. Have a guy with a staff, like a goat herder in the back, or somebody holding like a cistern, or just say, from all of us, from the Blaze, is this the Blaze? Who says you got to tell the truth? That's what I want to do. Now that would be good, but no. Did you ever get one of those letters every year that said, well, this year Elias he came in first in the bassoon for the state conference. And his ligament surgery is doing much better. He had the prostatectomy. He's 10 years old, which is very strange. Matt should be making parole. We were so happy he went straight to what? Little Sarah came in 4th in the divisionals in her. I remember that we knew this people. There was a guy who went to he played an instrument nobody's ever heard about. He's first bouzouki in the All Athens. Like, what is this? Now that might be good. So I don't need this. I just throw things away. So what am I talking about? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. And we talk about Florida. By the way, did you follow where I went when I started off? How I got here? Did you follow this? Pay attention there, associate producer. What you're seeing is you try doing this, huh? You try doing. You tell Greg Kelly to do that. Try that, Kelly. Try that, Mr. Big Shot. Anyway, today is going to be 130, all right? Now, they're going bananas. The poor guy at the local channel, whatever, the guy with the bad suit, he goes, hey, it's outside here. Hey. There's a guy I like who's he seems like a nice man. Was his John, CBS? During COVID, it was like, hey, I'm in the backyard. What are you doing in the backyard? Whoa, looks like I can see the weather. It was very scaled down. Remember, nobody came in during COVID. It was awful, but they had to do weather. Hey, it looks like, who is it, George Carlin? Tonight's temperature, tonight's forecast is dark, with scattered lightness. And nobody, because the weathermen don't know what to do. They're sitting around, there's some relic. They're a relic from a time that they always say, oh yeah, and here's weather. Let's go to Dick Rumpelmeyer. Dick, what do you think about it? Well, that's right, we're looking at we don't care about the Doppler. We don't even know what the Doppler is. Stop it. We don't know high pressure, low pressure. What do you got pressure? He's got pressure. All I know is that most men over 50 don't have pressure. That's a whole other story. But what do you do? It's partly cloudy. It's always partly cloudy. Don't tell me partly cloudy. Don't tell me that. That's not a forecast. That's an observation. I don't need you for that. Tell me, is it going to rain and when and for how long? They can't do that. They still can't do it. And the reason why is because you've been cloud seeding since the 60s. You've got an entire weird iron dome of nanoparticulates, and you've never acknowledged geoengineering and chemtrails yet. You've never done this. You're in the atmosphere business, and you've never acknowledged the obvious. But anyway, today, he's got his good suit out because they're going to be talking about it's going to be 101. And I was looking at my weather bug or weather this. It's going to be like at 2 o'clock, 101. It's going to go 99 and like a 1, and then at 1 o'clock, it's 101. Oh my God, kill yourself. Don't even bother. Just the end is nigh. Just, save up all those medications you were going to. I like what they say. Turn in all your medications. Bring them by CVS. The good stuff? Yeah. Yeah, the good stuff. I'm not giving that up. Well, it goes bad. It doesn't go bad. You can take a Xanax that's 25 years old and it'll still do the trick. No, bring them in. No. So people are expecting you to lose your mind today. And they're also giving you the most stupid that I hate. I'm using 2 words I love. These ridiculous suggestions. Here are my favorites. Ready? Let's do it today. See, you don't know about this, Mr. Associate Producer. You don't know about this. But in the old days, they think that you're retarded. That's what they think you are. They say right off the bat, make sure you hydrate. Hydrate! I never thought of it. Drink water when it's hot? You're right. You are so right. Yes. Thank you, Dick Rumpelmeyer, Channel 7 Weather. Thank you for that. You're on our side. Remember when they were on our side in the old days? We're on your side. I don't know who you people. I've got family. We're on your side. You're not on my side. Remember the old days at Channel 4? They'd walk to work. They were painting houses. We're part of your community. Now there's like 2 guys. You got that poor guy John on Channel 2. He's on all the time. I don't even think he's real. I think he's AI generated. I don't think he exists. And you're going to get that very well too. So number 1, what are your favorite stupid hot weather suggestions? Hydrate. Number 2, avoid alcohol. What are you talking about? Avoid alcohol. You're sweating your nads off, and the first, give me a beer. No. Drink water. I don't want water. Maybe vodka, scotch and water or something. Of course you're going to drink. What are you talking about? No, don't drink. Stop saying don't drink. How much alcohol do you think I'm drinking? And the ice cube accounts for something. What about this? I heard, yes, I'm not going to mention, but I happen to be listening to some very few radio stations, very few talk radio. One was, wear a hat. A hat. I think that's going to make it worse. Because where does radiation leave your body? Right through your head. You're wearing a hat. How about a wool cap? No, not a wool cap. Something gauzy. Something like Buana, maybe a pith helmet. Sunglasses. I heard somebody say sunglasses. What are you doing? And here's my favorite. My favorite of all. Check on the elderly. How do you think they became elderly? What are they, stupid? They've been through this all their life. And all of a sudden, you know what to do? It's like, Grandpa, he's acting weird. Why? Oh, by the way, my rule, avoid excessive flannel. If you could. Don't wear, Grandpa's really weird. Why? He went out into the parking lot at the Best Buy. He put on a wool cap and a scuba outfit, and he went into the car and locked the doors with the heat off. Well, that's the elderly for you. They don't do this. It's ridiculous. Don't go out, and you know what? You're going to make it. Do you ever talk to people who live like in Phoenix? It's 130, it's 100, and they always say, well, it's the dry heat. There's no humidity. There's no humidity in an oven either. What are you talking about? Why do we say these stupid things? It's going to be fine. It's going to be 100. Don't go outside. Now, I suggest you, this is very important, especially you younger men. Remember, as you know, there are certain aspects of this, and you know this is true, Blaze. I'm sorry. Don't give me that cool guy. But when you get to be a certain age or a certain, shall we say, appurtenances to the male anatomy that are affected by thermoreceptors. And there are certain distancing that happens by virtue of the temperature. Certain things get away from you. Get away! Get them away from the body. Get away! And certain sac-like appendages will become, dare I say, elastic. And you can go from jumping into the pool, you know what I mean, that cold pool, to, nothing, to looking like some kind of a barnyard nightmare. Think 2 mandarin oranges in a nylon stocking. We're talking livestock. So I always keep frozen niblets with me. Stick them down your pants. Nobody will know. You'll feel great. Think I'm kidding? When you're out there and you're saying, God, it's hot. I don't have a hat. I'm not hydrating. Here, try one of these. What is it? It's a pack of frozen peas, giblets, or stick them down your pants. What? Stick them down your pants. Okay. Say, hey. That's all that matters. See, because everybody's trying to get cool everywhere. You got to be cool just in certain places. You don't have to be cool everywhere. Am I right? How many of you have done this before? Tell me you haven't done you ever see the frozen peas thing when you hit your head? You go into the freezer and you get some peas. Remember the old days you had an ice pack? You don't need an ice pack. Give me the peas. Speaking of peas, it's 33 past the hour. I've taken no breaks. And Blaze has given me the broken hand, like he's taking a little chicken wing and breaking it because he's trying to indicate to me that I should break. Because I've been talking about 34 minutes about what I have no idea. That's the genius. Tell Greg Kelly to do that one, okay? Try that, Kelly. I kid, of course. I love him. It's 34 past the hour, like it matters. This is Lionel with you on the other side of midnight. You have no idea what heat is until you've traveled with your sister in the back of a 66 Chevy with plastic seats from Tampa to Canada, okay? And you get into your car, and your skin liquefies. It liquefies. Your skin is like there's a pool of gelatinous organic goo on the seat, and it's your leg because you wear shorts. Always wear shorts. We had a place in Tampa years ago called Goody Goody, so Florida Avenue. It was this great burger place, which they tried to replicate, but they couldn't do it. And one of the things which was interesting, they had these aluminum chairs. These chairs were so light, you could pick it up with a pinky. They weighed nothing, but they conducted cool like you couldn't believe. So you would come out of your car, you're hot, you've got liquefied, you've got 3rd-degree burns, you're putting salve and frozen giblets on your leg. And you went in and you sat in this freezing aluminum chair. It was the greatest thing. You was like, ah! You were always in pain. It's like even the cold was in pain. Remember when they had years ago, they had, when you would go to let's say a movie theater and it said air conditioned. That was it. Bring them in. This is how important it was. So it's going to be 101 for a couple hours. So what? And then my wife and I look at this is a classic. This is me, okay? I look out the window and I look down, their building, and there's this pool. I said, look at these sick bastards. Look at this guy. Look at this. Look at these people burning. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are they doing this? Well, they're getting some sun. You don't get sun. You're getting radiation. Plus, you're going to look old. And plus women, believe me, if you do that when you're young, later on you get that leathery kind of a reptilian skin on your chest. What are you doing? And then you got to say, oh my God, my face looks like 5 miles of bad road. Well, because you were out there in the sun your whole life, putting baby lotion on, and now look at you. Now you look like Jocelyn Wildenstein, the cat lady, before the work. And then you got to say, well, I got to fix this, and it's ridiculous. Sun kills you. There's no such thing as a good tan. Why are people doing this? It's the stupidest. See, stupid, and I hate it. You understand what I'm saying? All righty. Let's go to. Let's go. This looks good. I like this one. I like this. Imani from Middletown, New York. This is what Mr. Associate Producer writes. I haven't heard much of you. New York City election. I don't know what it means. Juxtaposition, strange, perhaps. Incongruous, absolutely. Does it fit? Nope. Is it, square peg in a round hole? You betcha. Let's go to Imani. You're on the other side of midnight with Lionel, whom you've never heard of.
Hi, Lionel. I never heard of you, but good to hear you.
I've never heard of you either. I haven't heard a thing of you. I have heard of so many people. I've heard of some of the most obscure people in my life. Coaches from baseball teams who don't even exist, but I've never heard of you. Never. How could that be?
I guess we both have something in common then.
That's
How
right.
about that?
Nescience.
Well, listen. Like the Frank Sinatra said, if I can make it anywhere, I'll make it here. And New York. You said, where would I bring anybody?
No, say this again the way you say this. Like Frank Sinatra said, if I can make it anywhere, I'll make it here. What are you, Thurston Howell? What is this? I can make it here.
No.
Stop spreading the news.
No.
I've left already. I'm going to change the lyrics, but contain the idea.
If
New
I
York,
can get anywhere,
that vagabond
New York.
blues, whatever a vagabond is. Yes, go ahead.
Exactly. You said, where would you bring somebody? I say New York. If they were to make it in New York.
Why? What does that mean?
I'm not saying that because I have a New York state of mind.
But it's not. What are you going to do? Just you going to do song titles? Is that it?
No.
What about Chicago? What about a toddling town? Now, what is a toddle? When one toddles, what does that mean?
What about those places? What about those places?
New York is not
relevant.
New York is not representative of the country at all.
Are you serious? It's like the biggest place in the world.
Let me try this again.
Everybody goes to New York.
Do you always talk like this? Do you always squeak and squeal like that?
No. Only when I'm passionate about something. And I have a New York state of mind because I'm from New York City.
What does that mean? You're taking something. New York doesn't exist anywhere but in New York. So if you're trying to give somebody a representative sample of the country, you say, yes, but New York is so big. But that's not. Texas is the largest state. Take them to Texas.
Texas does not really hold a candle to.
See, now you've missed the point.
Shine New York's shoes.
Now the point is, it's not to take places that you like, but take people to places that are most representative of the kind of the average of what best describes the country. New York doesn't best describe the country. I admit it's the best place to go. You don't understand this question, do you?
No, I understand very well. I understand very well.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. You didn't get it.
No.
You have a New York state of mind. The most cliched caller. No wonder you haven't heard
biased.
You're being extremely biased and closed-minded. Are you done? All right, ready. I've never heard of it before. Start, like Sinatra said, if you can make it here, you can start you here. Thank you so much. Lovey. Yes, Thurston. Where's Gilligan? Now, that's the point that misses the whole point. New York is not the most representative of the country. Most people have never been to New York. How about people who've never been to the city who live in New Jersey? You ever met these people? They're proud. Oh, I don't go to the city. Oh, no way. Couldn't get me. What? Why would you? It's like when people move to Florida. If you don't live by the water, what's the point? If you're not there, if you're not there, why would you want to live in, Bartow? Oh my God. Why? Why would you? I don't understand. Well, anyway. Let's go to Al. Al's in New York. Or maybe, I don't know. Al wants to talk about Florida. Al, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Lionel, I know you're a Florida native.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to give you a real quick pop quiz. No chat GPA, no riffraff or Matt Blaze giving you something in your ears. I want quick answers. You ready?
Yep.
Which is got a higher point, Long Island or Florida?
Which has a higher what?
Higher point in elevation, Long Island or Florida?
I would say Florida.
What would you say the height is? Highest point in Florida?
The highest point? I don't know. Highest point? What do you mean the highest point? What does that mean? The highest building? The highest structure? The highest landmass? Mountains? What?
Landmass.
Huh?
Landmass.
The highest landmass? I don't know. What's the answer?
Very small. I was shocked. 345 feet.
Of
They
what?
even call it a mountain. A hill, Britton Hill, by the Alabama border. Here's
You
another
are
one.
serious, right? You think anybody's going to know that answer? Did you?
It's easy. 345.
It's easy?
Yeah. Check this.
This call is so bad. It just is so bad. It just, oh my God. And I know you're a good man. I know that. 2 in a row, by the way. Boy, that's going to be a long night. Because normally that kind of gives you an idea of where we're going with it. Landmass. The question I had before which was missed, what is most representative? Let me give you an example. If one person is not moving and the other person is going 100 miles an hour, what's their average speed? 50. But none of them are going 50. See? So the average is kind of a then what about the median speed? Well, that's a different one. The median is where half is above and half is below. There are different statistical things. So what is the most average? What is the most representative of the country? And the point is, I don't know. Have you been to places up Pacific Northwest or Northern California versus Southern California, Texas, Louisiana, West by God, Virginia? And we talk about Florida. Where in Florida? You know, it's funny. You talk about these people who've never been. You know these people, right? They say, I've never been to the city. I had a friend. I think I told you the story. If I didn't, I'm going to tell you again. My friend had a relative years ago I love this story. I don't know why, but I think about it, and it marinates over time. He lived in Jersey. He's never been to the city, or maybe once in the city, but he's never been to a play or a musical. Never, his whole life. So my friend says, "Listen, before you die, you got to see it. You got to see a musical." He says, "All right." By the way, I just looked up and I saw Lauren Sanchez. Bezos' wife. Oh my God. She actually went and had this done. It's like, get your money back. In any event. So my friend says, listen, uncle, cousin, whatever, do me a favor. You got to go see a musical. I don't want to see it. Before you die. Okay, what should I see? And it was a long time ago, by virtue of this. It was Miss Saigon. He said, you got to see Miss Saigon. Really? Yeah, Miss Saigon. If you don't like it, I'll pay for the tickets. He says, all right, I'll go. Okay. Never, I don't know how old the guy was, but he never had been to a musical play, nothing. All right, so he shows up, lo and behold, and he sits there. And when it came time for intermission, they had actual curtains then, because now they don't have, the whole proscenium thing. Curtains came down, and people got up. And it was winter time, and they grabbed their coats and they went outside. He said, okay, so he grabbed his coat and he left. Thought it was over. It was intermission. He didn't know this. He didn't look at the playbill or nothing. He just got up and he left. He went home, and so my friend calls him Monday. He goes, tell me all about it. He says, did you go? Yeah, I went. Well, what'd you think? Well, a little pricey. He said, what? Little pricey? What's pricey? He goes, yeah, oh, okay, well, whatever. Anyway, so what'd you think? He said, I don't really understand it. He said, you don't understand Miss Saigon? You don't get it? He says, no. He said, well, what about the helicopter scene? What helicopter scene? What are you talking about? He goes, they took it out? He said, what are you talking about? So as they were talking, my friend did more and more questioning. He said, wait a minute. You said you left. How quick? He said, well, about, I don't know, 90 minutes, for 45 minutes. He goes, Schmuck, that was intermission. You were supposed to come back. They took their coats because it's winter. They went outside to smoke a cigarette and they came back. Sometimes you go across the street. The real hardcore folks are the one who grab a drink and come back. Oh, you left at intermission. I didn't know. They go, you're an idiot. I didn't know. He says, but that explains it. Why he didn't understand. So he left at intermission and thought, this is it. And he says, come to think about it, I thought they were very rude. Nobody clapped. Because I saw on TV how they hold hands and they bow. These are these people who spend so much time not knowing anything, not thinking, not going. If I want to go someplace, what do? I go to YouTube. Do me a favor. Are you thinking about going to Davenport? Go to YouTube, put Davenport street food. It'll take you everywhere you need to know. And you say, oh, okay, that's a nice place. Because there's nothing fancy about the street food or little delicacies. That's where. So tonight, when you get a chance, I know you're not going to want to do this, but look up Tehran. Okay? Look up Tehran. I know nothing about it. I've never been, probably never going to go. But before you start talking about places, you might want to find out, are we doing one of these? Okay, good. I just got that hand signal again because I've been talking the whole time. And we've only taken one break, and we can't do that. By the way, the best part about doing is like a syndicated show, the stuff, you miss the good commercials that we hear for diseases and things that nobody's ever had. And there's different, it's fantastic. You may be hearing something else in your own area, but we don't. We hear these, and they're really good. I'd like to have a whole show of just those commercials. Oh, you'd be riveted. Our number, 800-848-9222. We're talking about theoretically, we're talking about that stupid weather advice because it's going to be hot today in New York City. And I think you know what that means. If we don't, I got to keep the forest going? The forest? They don't go by themselves? I thought if you don't listen, if we don't do something at the forest, they're going to just keep growing and growing and they'll overgrow. No, I'm going to lose the forest too? I got so much to worry about. I got remember the rainforest? Oh, that's a different kind of forest. Oh my God. Send money. To whom? To whom? Send it to the forest people. I got to worry about the forest now? What about the woods? What's the difference between the woods and the forest? I don't know. Well, I'm worrying about the woods. Let's go to Michael in Manhattan. Have you noticed that how kids today don't say the letter T or the sound? Manhattan, Mrs. Martin. I went Little Italy, Manhattan. Where did this come from? Michael in Manhattan. You're on the line, on the other side of midnight. That's it, with Lionel.
Two things. One, and I won't limit myself to that. Do you remember in the old days when you would see a theater that said air conditioned, but then you would go to another movie theater and it would say air cooled?
No, I never saw air cooled.
Oh, seriously, really?
I'm being serious. Yeah. Why would I kid about something that's not even remotely funny?
Because you might find it to be cool.
I take it seriously, this topic, and would never do in any way to give it short shrift or to pass it on as some pathetic attempt at a joke, Michael. And I'm busting your balls.
No,
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
It is true. Google it. You'll see.
I'm not going to Google it. I don't care. Nobody knows air conditioned, air cooled. Come on, man.
No,
when you go to a party, they say, "Oh God, Michael's here." Oh God.
I told a friend of mine from out of town. I said,
"This a long story?"
Short.
Okay. What'd you tell your friend from out of town? What'd you tell him?
Come into the city and look at a construction site. You'll find it riveting. He goes there.
Now stop for a second. Hold it. Stop it. You told a friend. A guy you like, somebody you care for, he said, come into the city and look at a construction site.
Yeah, I'd never seen one before.
He's never seen a construction site.
No.
How many moron friends? What was he? Was he in a coma his whole life? Who's never seen a construction site? In any city, from Davenport, Iowa to Upchurch, Wyoming. Who's never seen a construction site?
Well, I think he came from Peoria, but
Peoria doesn't have construction sites? There's nothing built there?
I don't know. In any event, so
you
he
actually
came
called
into
your friend up and said, hey, come to New York and look, not at the buildings, not the theater, not the musea, but look at a construction site?
He wanted to see one, so I said, "You'll find it.
Oh, that's a different
You'll
story.
find it.
He actually called you up and said, hey, listen, can you help me with this? Maybe you
No.
can. Maybe you can help me. I
No.
want to go to a construction
And we were
site.
not-
Do you know anyone's house?
No,
Well, I know one in Midtown. That's a good
we're
one.
not having an arcane discussion.
But it was
He said,
recondite.
Okay, I'm going to come into the city.
It was recondite.
Go to,
And I'm going to park my car, and you can maybe direct me to a good construction site so I can stare at it. For how long? So we can take it in and absorb the moment.
The bottom line is that
There is no
argued
bottom
with-
line. Let's
he
face
said-
it. Life's like that. There is no bottom line. There was no bottom line to this story. There was no purpose for this. You just took it to his air cold and air conditioned, and one of the guys asking me about some Point Britain in Florida. What the hell's going on here? I think it's the heat. I think the heat's affected you. That's what I think. And if you think that's interesting, this hour was interesting, you're the one. See, when you get to a certain age, and this is true, you got to ask yourself, how do I know I'm getting old? How do you know this? Blaze, how do you know you're getting old? Like, what do you know? Like, what do you first start to, like, what do you know? When do you start to say, hey, I'm really, like when you're a kid, you know, it's good, like, hey, boy, you're getting big. Hey, your voice is changing. Hey, you're growing a beard. Hey, you're going to 8th grade. Hey, and especially if you're a girl, it's like, hey, you know, you look differently, you know, you start, like when I was always told, my sister was always developing. Like I used to say, your sister can't do this. How come I got to do all this work? How come she can't do it? She's developing. What the hell am I doing? What am I doing? What do you call this? No, you're different. She can't do that. She can't push a lawnmower like you can. Why not? She's developing. I'm pushing this thing in Florida in the hot sun. I've got I grow a third testicle because of all the hernias from pushing this thing. And what about me? Well, you're different. You're tough. But there's this whole thing. But how do you know you're getting older? And one of the things is when you get to a certain age, pay attention, Riff. One is, for some reason, all of a sudden you say, hey, I got hair in my ears. What is this about? Some people don't. I have to actually get a little trimmer. I said, why? Sometimes I look at older people and say, oh, old man say, there's not a follicle in his ear. What's going on with that? Why do some people, there must be some reason. God must say, you're special. We must protect your brains. I'm going to grow hair in your ears. Okay. Another one, too, this friend of mine called me. Haven't talked to him in years. He called me. I answered the phone. He said, what's this eyebrow dandruff? What's that all about? I said, oh, that's interesting. Because certain things will happen to you when you get older. I read this whole thing in the AARP. I love the AARP bulletin. You forget that thing? It's fantastic. Why old people stink. This is a good one. A lot of it has to do with their mouth and their oral care. This is fantastic stuff. Pay attention to me. I'm telling you, Riff, one day you're going to say, hey, look at this. I don't remember this sagging like this. What's this all about? What? What's this about? Somebody one time, there was a comedian. I don't know who he was, he said, but he realized something. He was going through a drive-through, and he went over a speed bump, and he goes, what's that thing I felt? He goes, it was his breast. He had a guy to come after you or something. Moobs, I think they call them. He goes, what is this about? Where did this come from? You got to pay attention to these things. Well, sure enough, here's the real surefire deal. Here's the real surefire thing. When you talk a little bit too much about weather. Now, I talk about it derisively. I don't talk about it in terms of being fascinated by it. I make fun of it. Because it's the most stupid thing in the world. It sure is hot out there. I'm telling you, hey, it's raining. Farmers sure need it. We haven't had a rain like this, and oh my God. We haven't had a rain like this. Remember in New York when it would snow? Remember when it would snow? I remember when years ago, 30 years ago, I'm in New York for the first time. I'm thinking, what is this? I said, I swear to God, where's Central Park? They said, over there. I said, where? Over there. I'm like at Central Park South. I said, give me a hint. He goes, it's there. The wall, the wall around it, it's covered. So I see a tree. I can't make anything out. That's how big it was. I saw one time a guy on skis on Times Square, on skis in the snow. Remember that? Remember the big plows, the big piles of snow where you couldn't, you had to go to the end of the street to cross. Cars were completely covered. Cars were covered in this acid snow and they melted. It was snow like, dear God, it poured. It was just incredible. And then there was nor'easters. I love that nor'easter. It sounds like a pirate. Dar, you nor'easter, arr, me bucko. And now, nothing. Why do you think that is? I don't know. Maybe a little geoengineering, huh? Reflecting that temperature back, huh? Solar radiation management, carbon dioxide removal. I'm telling you, I've only been talking about this for years. But anyway, now that was something. Hey, listen, you better remember during the John Lindsay mayoral campaign, he lost because he didn't send the plows out to Queens. Oh my God! Now it's it snows a little bit. So what do we have? We don't have anything. We just have heat. That's it. And people go so crazy for weather. Oh my God, they go bananas. The poor weatherman. I've seen this. Hey, send out the remote truck. Go to to a Home Depot and get these poor bastards buying a snow shovel for the first time. Why? Because it's going to snow. And my question is, why are you buying a snow shovel now? Do you not have one? Does yours break? Why do you not have a snow shovel? Go to an Acme or go to a whatever, and go to the aisle that shows all the water gone or the milk and bread. Because people during snow, any kind of inclement weather, they drink milk and bread. They eat it. Imagine being in a home with some kind of a double wide lactose intolerant, and you got somebody drinking gallons of milk and bread, Wonder Bread and milk. Who came up with that? How about during COVID? Couldn't keep toilet paper. Excuse me, did that affect you that way? I don't remember that. People love weather. It's the weirdest thing because maybe it's atavistic, maybe it's primordial, maybe it goes back to the time when we lived in a time, in a world, in a period where when people did not know about weather, they died and crops mattered. Maybe that's it. I'm convinced man was created God during weather. First time you saw lightning, tell me you didn't think there was. Tell me you think, that guy up there, he's pissed off. Oh, I don't know what you did. I think they figured out this thing the first time they understood darkness, like nighttime, goes, what's that? What happened? Where'd the light go? I think it's a cycle. I'm not sure about this, but you're right about that. Oh, I got worried. Then the seasons. Imagine you're in some part of the country where seasons. See, you're in New York, you're in the Northeast, where you have a thing called a sweater. Growing up in Florida, and I call it Florida, I don't say Florida because I grew up in a place with rednecks and goat ropers and inbreds. People, dun, 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 dun. I mean, seriously. I never had a sweater. I don't think never cold. Never. I remember Christmas time with the air conditioner on. No, never got that. So the whole seasonal thing never meant anything until I moved here. And then I said, oh, okay, I got it. And I do like it. Oh, it's spring. Nice spring day. A nice spring day. I've got a friend of mine who is he's in the radio biz, and he's so interested in the weather. Well, now technically it's not. This is the first day of summer. This is the longest day of the year. Now it's not technically summer. It's not autumn. Autumn's this thing like Tuesday. It just slides by. Are we in autumn? I don't know. It's winter, spring, summer, and fall. Nobody goes autumn. Where is autumn? Where does it fit in? I don't even know. But we love to talk about this. But today it's going to be hot. It's going to be so hot. And your buildings will send you stuff. Please, Con Ed's, I guess you get some kind of. Please turn off. Let me read you mine. You're gonna love this one. I'm gonna read this to you, and because everybody's got these. This is the beauty of New York. I got this in our building. Let me read this to you. Where is? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Dear, whatever. We hope this message finds you well. And if it's not, don't worry about it because, believe it or not, your problems are probably much greater than the obvious news we're going to be giving you. Con Edison has requested that we reduce electricity usage tomorrow, that's Tuesday, June 24th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in an effort to prevent potential power outages due to increased demand on the electrical grid during the anticipated high temperatures. Isn't that their job? Excuse me. By the way, we don't want you to ride on the road. Well, because all that car activity could affect the road. Isn't that what the road does? Isn't that what the grid does? What's the purpose of the grid? May I talk to the person in charge of the grid? We kindly ask for your support in helping conserve energy during this time. A few simple actions can make a meaningful difference. Oh, that's all I want. Raise your AC thermostat set point. No. Okay. Turn off or dim unnecessary lighting. How do I dim lighting? I'm serious. Do I have a real stat for this thing? Turn off unnecessary lighting. All right, I'll give you that one. That comes back from my father's days. Turn that light off. I don't have stock in, whatever it was. Close it. Close it. Do you have to look inside the refrigerator so much? You're losing power. Close the door. I'm used to that. Unplug non-essential electronics. Let me ask you, gentlemen, when have you ever done that? What is a non-essential electronic? Can you close it? Yeah. I've got 9,000 plugs. I don't even know what this stuff is. I've got this thing in the wall with some unit with all these plugs in it. I don't know what's non-essential. How about the oven? What does that even mean? Is that essential? Do we really need this? What's essential? What's non-essential? No idea. I believe in being a little bit clearer, a little bit more limpid in your directives. Delay use of large appliances such as washers, or washers, as people say, dryers and dishwashers. Delay the use of it, if you don't mind. How about do it at midnight? Your efforts contribute to the stability of the power grid and support a more sustainable environment. Oh, shut up. Stop it. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm not going to listen to it. Don't talk to me like that. Lower your thermostat. No, let somebody else do that. I'm busy. I work too hard. You know what? And I've been here longer. Let some young guy like Riff and his friends get used to this stuff. They like that stuff. I worked hard for this. I think the older you are, the more you should be able to abuse your grid. It's ridiculous. It's only going to 100. Now, today was 95. They never said a word. Nothing. Here's one for you. I hate this. Feels like. It feels like. Who in the hell are you to tell me what it feels like? What are you, Kreskin? How do you know what it feels like? So one day I had a friend of mine in the biz. He was a poor guy. He was a weatherman. And if weatherman, I just laugh. Every time I see, if for some reason I see a weatherman, I go, ha ha, look at this guy. That's like having a wind. Yes, I'm on the Channel 4 News. Yes, I talk about the wind. You do? Yeah, the wind. That's what I do. I talk about the wind. Anyway. So they have these things where these people are telling you about all this kind of nonsense, and I think it's a complete and total waste of time. Anyway, make a long story short. Let's go back to the phones, back to the fun. Let's go to, let me see. Let me see. Tom in the Bronx. Tom, you're on the Lionel Show.
Hi, Lionel. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Once again. I got two interesting things. One about...
Let me be the judge of that. First of all, don't tell me when something is in.
All right. I have two things to say.
There you go.
The first one is a meme where Trump is talking to Netanyahu, and he says, my CIA says there's no Walmarts in Iran. Is that true? And
oh, wait a minute. I know where this one's going. Well, finish the joke.
Yeah, only Targets.
So, let me ask you something.
What?
Do you think that's funny?
Absolutely.
You
it's
think...
the unexpected answer. It fits the definition of comedy.
That's not what I'm saying. Do you think the funny targeting a country for attack is funny? Really? Do you think it's funny?
It's not humorous because there's collateral damage. Innocent people are always killed. It's not funny, but
the
surgery's not funny either. Losing limbs isn't funny, but how many of our men step on EIDs, or is it IEDs?
EIDs. Oh, McDonald had a farm. EIDIO.
EIDIO. See, you're making jokes about.
I'm making jokes about you. I'm mocking you.
I know.
You're the subject. You're in the crosshairs, my friend. Oh, yes.
Let me tell you about looking after elderly people. Having run senior centers, I noticed that as people age, and I'm old, I'm 73, but I got an 85-year-old friend who I recently picked up after he had a pacemaker put in.
You picked him up?
And I said, "Are you sure?" I picked him up from the hospital. He's too big to pick up. He weighs more than me. He's 6'2", interesting guy. And
because he's 6'2",
he shows me photographs. He's a 6'2" guy. He's 85 years old. That's kind of unusual in that age group.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. Also, you don't see too many smokers at the age of 85.
No, but I have met a couple where they smoke 2 packs a day.
That's a rarity. They cough a lot. And you don't see a lot of drinkers, a lot of heavy, really drinkers.
No, of course not. No.
And why aren't more older women boozers? What's that about?
Well, it's socially unacceptable. I actually dated a Russian girl who was a closet drinker.
Wait a minute, stop. You dated a Russian girl?
A beautiful Russian girl.
And she was a closet drinker? How do you know? She drank in the closet or what? Or was she gay?
No, I noticed a drastic change in personality from the morning until 5 hours later. I could see the glazed look in her eyes.
And the smell of a distillery.
Attitude.
Like a vodka truck.
No, I didn't smell anything. I looked under the sink and I saw a very cold bottle of 40-ounce beer.
Wait a minute. That's a good one. You are quite the Columbo, aren't you? You got right to the. Wait a minute.
3 years to figure it out.
It took you 3 years.
3 years. How
many times did you find cold bottles of beer before you said, "Wait a minute"?
No, that was the first time.
Oh, sure. Now you're changing the story.
And I poured it down the sink, and she wanted to kill me.
What did you tell her?
Alcohol. I says to her, "You're drinking."
Yes.
Why are you drinking? And she says,
"Why do you think?"
What do you mean? I said, "You have a drinking problem." She says, "I have no problem." I know. You drink, you get drunk, you fall down, no problem.
You are a wealth of every corny joke there is. So what happened to her? Did you give her the boot?
You know why they drink in Russia?
Why?
She grew up in communist Russia. They're so depressed.
Uh-huh.
And the government subsidized vodka.
Yeah.
These people would get vodka, and they wanted to keep them semi drunk.
Don't you think that makes sense? Don't you think we should do that here? Don't you think we should do that here?
Go to communism, keep it low. What do you think all this marijuana distribution is all about? Keeping everybody sedated. I can't walk past the person on a street without smelling.
You're right about that.
I can't stand it.
And what about when Zoran Hamidi becomes in? He wants to make everybody enslaved by communistic regimes by government run stores and
He wants the city to control all the grocery stores.
Isn't that is insanity? Insanity. Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. We're talking about the weather. And by the way, what are you doing today to prepare for today's weather emergency? What precautions are you taking? And what are the most stupid examples of self-obvious, which is redundant, tips? And why do we lose our minds for weather? That and other issues on the other side of midnight with Lionel. I think we should take 2 weeks off. Can we trust you? Yes, of course. Next thing you know, and bomb the hell out of them. I thought you said 2 weeks. Well, I changed my mind. What? Now, and people are just barking like seals. I mean, I mean, and I know nobody ever wants to talk about Iran because they have no say in this whatsoever. They're evil. They're terrible. That's it. That's the end of it. Don't ever talk about them. Just whatever you want to do to them. But imagine being Iran. He goes, Let me get this straight. You attack me, Israel attacks me, everything, and what? They say, all right, that's it, ceasefire. Wait a minute. I think you've had enough. I think I've had enough. Do we have any say in this? No. Are you sure? Yeah. How do I trust you? Of course we're trusted. But you told me the 2 weeks before, but that was different. That was different. But huh? Now, of course, nobody is at all questioning this on other channels because you don't question things. See, that's my thing. I question these things. I ask the question, how does this thing work? Did you ever spend any time studying the official story of Pearl Harbor? Did you ever really study that? I don't think you want to study. Hey, listen, yeah, move the carriers out. Yeah. Why? The other ones? No, leave the other ones there, but move the carriers out now. Well, should we move them all out? No, and put them all together. Can you stack them all together? Can put them right, park them. Okay. You think that's a good idea? Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You don't think that, no, stop it. What are you suggesting? What, that we knew anything about that? You sick bitch. See, I would be terrible. That's why I can't work on these shows, because I'd be asking questions all the time. Like, does this make any sense to you? Does this make any sense? You know what time it is right now? It's 30 past the hour. 30 past the hour. On the other side of midnight. See, if I ran the country, I would say, oh, no, we're not going to bomb anybody. No. Don't worry about that. All of a sudden, what happens? Power's out. Wait a minute. Power's out. I didn't do anything. I'm not going to bomb. No need to bomb. Just turn the power off. Let me ask you something. Please, think about this. You have no internet. Just stop for a second. No internet. Have you ever seen these things like, hey, WhatsApp's off? What, or Twitter's down? And you get this. You get these, you'll get these highlights. Twitter's down. Oh my God. There are people I know, if Facebook went down, they wouldn't exist. That's what I would do. Vote me. Oh yeah. I'm going to say, I want all these people. I'm going to get all the Elon Musk people. I'm not going to bomb anybody. I'm just going to shut you down. It's all down. You're down. What would you do without the internet, Blaze? What would you do? You know what else I found out recently? Which is another one. Because, I'm kind of moving on because I'm getting a little tired of this stuff, the arrests and Karens and that. Well, all of a sudden, YouTube will figure out a trend. And there is this, if you always wanted to go into physical therapy and porn, and you wanted to combine the two, go into this chiropractic stuff. There is a Russian guy, I don't know how he's on, he basically has like young girls, and he's doing some chiropractic moves I've never seen before. There's another guy too, I just saw, don't ask me why, I've got my phone, I got my thing on my stick. I wear this. This is a great bludgeoning tool. I have my phone on one of these extendable stick things. And I just happened to be scanning, and there was a guy, had this young girl in front of him. He's a chiropractor. He goes, now bend over. He basically, she has her rear end in his face, and he's basically looking at her arse, but as a chiropractor. What about now? And he takes out these devices and he moves them up and down, I think they just make them up, like a divining rod. Then there's another woman. These people are scantily clad, and they mic you up, and they crack your back, and you're watching this. He's got like 10 million hits. And I'm thinking, why are people watching this? But she has 10 million of a guy getting his neck cracked. And these are just regular people. There's a thing too called a ring dinger. Have you ever seen this on YouTube? A ring dinger is when you have somebody wrap a towel around your neck. They anchor your feet in your body and then they pull your head back so that your head, basically, it almost snaps your head off, but they stop short of actually internally decapitating you. Watch, it's called a ring dinger. I would never have that done. To have somebody pull your head, and these people go into convulsions and they cry, and 20 million hits. 20 million hits. You know how much a person gets a check every month for 20 million hits? I'm doing comments. This guy's got half naked people pulling their necks out, 20 million hits. Okay. The point for this is if I shut that down and you couldn't watch your ring dinger or you couldn't watch whatever it is, it's like, what are you addicted to? Imagine Aunt Sally who doesn't have Facebook. That's what I would do. I wouldn't need any kind of bunker busters. I would turn off power. I would know how to do it. I wouldn't do anything. Raytheon wouldn't like me. General Dynamics wouldn't like me. Boeing wouldn't like me. I wouldn't need any planes. No. There was a commercial years ago for a movie that said, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to kill something you love. Oh, I'm going to kill your ability to watch something. Blaze, what would you do if you didn't have the internet? What would you do? Watch TV? You'd go crazy. Think about this. I can't imagine it.
I think I could live without the internet.
No, you couldn't. No, not you. No way. You drive 12 hours back to the shore, you got a crab roll, and you go back to your camper, and what are you going to do? By yourself? No. What are you going to read a book? And this guy over here, the associate producer, I can't even imagine. He'll be off the wall. Can you imagine, seriously, Riff, can you imagine being no internet? None? If you went, how long could you go without the internet?
I think about 25, 30 minutes.
Right. There's no way I could.
But we've lived without internet. He's never lived without internet.
I've lived without internet, and I even appreciate it even more. There are people who have lived without. I grew up without air conditioning. That doesn't make any sense.
But you'd still be able to do it. I mean, you may not like doing it.
I can't watch ring dingers without this. I can't get to this to see my women be stealing at Walmart.
So you're so addicted to ring dingers that you couldn't live without.
Nope.
For how long? How long could you do it? How
Half
long?
An hour.
So if somebody said to you,
yeah, how long can I go?
I'll give you $50 million.
Oh, stop it. No. Put it. If somebody said, I'll give you $50 million and you've got to go in and strangle your executive and associate, you guys are goners. Oh, $50 million, name it. No, that's not even fair.
1 year. 1 year, no internet.
$50 million? No problem.
See, now you can.
Now, let's start coming down from that.
Now when there's incentive.
Of course I would. Of course. $50 million, stop it. Of course I would.
So do we want to know what the least number is?
Yes, yeah.
The lowest number?
Yeah. 20,000? No.
No.
See?
It'd have to be seven figures.
It's
It'd
like,
have to be at least $1 million.
What would your ransom be? Hello, Mrs. Blaze. Yeah. We got Matt. Yeah. 25,000. What? All right. 20. How much is they used to have ransom. Remember the Getty kid? They gave him his ear?
Right.
I don't get their attention. Open it up. What is this? I think it's Jerry's ear. Nah, it's shriveled up. No, it's an ear. I need this. I could live without, first of all, my life, everything that we do is the internet. It's the greatest thing. I would shut that down. I would tell everybody, believe it. Or I would slow it down. See, I don't know what would be worse. I would make you go to dial up. All of a sudden, when it's slow. See, I have this thing where I had this really lousy, I'm not going to mention the company, but it was a very slow internet speed. Very slow. Exceedingly slow. I didn't know it was slow, but it was slow. And I went and I got this other company, and I said, there we go. That sounds like, hello? Sounds like ELO, right? This is the beginning of
AOL, the old AOL.
Yeah.
You're getting hooked up.
See, Riff doesn't know what you're talking about. Say, what is this? This is what we would hear. And you'd wait. Come on! Let's go! And it didn't have much of a baud rate.
You'd wait for it to say connected.
Yeah, yes! And then you would see these things. You would see like a little fingers. You would see these lines connecting.
Hello, you've got mail.
Yeah, right. Who was that person? Remember, there was a very famous story about that. In any event, as we say, I recently, what was it? I said, I don't think my internet's very good. well, we're in this building and it's committed to this other one. So I called up this other company. Didn't sound like, I don't want to mention the name, but it sounded like a fly-by-night. Didn't have a good name to it. So I said, what the heck? I said, listen, I'm doing it. He goes, go to rate or speed.com or rate.com or how fast is my this? What is it? 3. 3 what? No, 3. 3. Yeah, he goes, that's barely bad. That's my point. That's it? Yeah, that's it. 3? I'm exaggerating. That's terrible. So I called the company and said, listen, can I upgrade this? Sure we can. But, your building, it was wired for, why? So anyway, so I called this other company and said, can you help me with my internet speed? Yes. The other company said, well, that's them. We can do it. How about this? 7 million. It's like, no, come on, Siri goes, no, 7 million. There's no way you're going to give me 7 million. $50 a month. It's so fast. It starts up on its own. It anticipates it. I almost wept. I cried at how fast this thing is. It's the most wonderful thing. It's the most wonderful. I think about those days. If you took this away from me, I'd be dead. I need this to research everything in my life. Lionel Nation, YouTube, any kind of communication. LionelMedia.com for those of you to find out. And for those of you interested in buying tickets to see me on July the 19th at the Cutting Room. That's right, LionelMedia.com. What would I do without this? It's become who I am. During the, I don't know what it is, COVID or whatever, or maybe we have these kiosks. I told you here, when we have this system here, this archaic 1920s gulag Wi-Fi where you have to ask somebody here to give you their email, and finally I got the code. I was like liberated, and I have it. I have the code. It's the most incredible thing in the world. That's the way you start wars. You don't need to bomb anything, especially when you're bombing stuff that's been closed for years. Not going to say anything, but they're laughing. There's 3 of these nuclear sites. 2 were already closed. One was they moved all the stuff out. I'm just saying. See, you don't want to hear that. See, remember something about this. Truth is a very weird thing. Nobody really wants the truth. Truth is something that's like, well, we want truth, things that we agree with. And if ever somebody tells you something that doesn't comport with your worldview, we go someplace else. I will find the network or the person or the commentator that I agree with. And I mentioned you before, Facebook has created monsters into people who are constantly referring to themselves in this laudatory, congratulatory world of look at me. Look what I'm doing. Am I not great or what? I know somebody who's kind of in the biz, and she has a Facebook page, and she'll say something like, I got a new pair of glasses. She'll smile, and people say, 8 million, you are so beautiful. Thank you. You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. And I'm thinking, what is the matter with this? She got a new pair of glasses. But this is what people have addicted themselves to. I'll cut that off. I tell people this all the time, and they don't understand it. I know people who live in the world of Facebook. Let me ask you this question. What's the difference? See, X to me is the purest of the pure. That's hardcore news. If you want to get into solipsistic narcissism on X, you're wasting your time. There are people who will just bulldoze you. It's about ideas and thoughts and yeah. But that's for, if you want to find out what's happening, go to X. It's the best news source, period, bar none, because it's so fast. Okay, that's that. Now, let's move to Facebook. What's Facebook? Kind of exhibitionism, narcissism. Look at me. Look what I'm eating. And here's one for you, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. and I love people. I love people to death. and I please don't, with the exception of my good friend Anthony Cumia, with the exception of him, we don't care about your dog. Now, I'm going to break some news to you. We don't want to see your dog sleeping. We don't want to see your dog licking his balls. We don't want to see any of that stuff. By the way, you know why your dog does that, right? The old joke is because it can. He goes, no, because it can't make a little fist with their paw. Anyway, we don't care about little Samson sleeping. We don't. We don't care. Nobody cares. Why are you owe me a duty not to bore me. You actually put up a picture of a dog sleeping. And what did you want me to do? You're wasting my time with this? Not your kids, but this? A dog sleeping or a dog chasing his, look, he's chasing his tail. How dare you do that? Do you think this is, yes, I find it fascinating because of such and such. So that's number one, period. Number two, things that you eat. Nobody cares. Tiramisu. We've seen it. I don't know why it is. Here I am eating. Oh, here's something. If you get an award, what you want to say is, hey, look at this. Look what I got. I got an award. I'm better than you. You suck. I got this award. You didn't. Okay, it's a AAA 50-year membership. But that's not the point. I got it. What you do is you say this, honored. I'm honored and humbled. By what? By this award that I got because I'm better than you. But you start off with, I'm humbled and I'm honored. Okay, that's great. Or what about this? I've been married to this beautiful woman for 50 years. Stop it! Stop it! That's personal. What are you doing? Don't tell us that. And the worst thing I think I sent it to people. I said, can you believe this? Can you believe this? It was people who go into auto mourn. I haven't got to Instagram yet because that's the last one. Auto mourn is when some famous person dies and you immediately go through all your pictures to say, do I have a picture with him? Do I have a picture with him? Jack Elam died. Do I have a picture of him? Go back and check. Do I have a picture of him? Why? Because I want to show that I have a picture with Jack Elam. Remember the guy with the eyes or whoever it is. Robert Wagner. I mean, he didn't die, but I got a picture of Robert Wagner. Can I get a picture of Robert Wagner? Why? Because he died. I want to show people that I was standing in the same room with Robert Wagner. Yeah, but you don't know him. I didn't say I knew him. I said I've got a picture of him with Robert Wagner. I know people who, it's auto mourn. You find the picture? Good. Great. Now they'll say this. No words. No words. I am so saddened by this. So saddened by the death of whoever it is. Stanley Fafara, who played Whitey on Leave It to Beaver. Just whoever it is. I'm so sorry for your life. I can't believe it. So why? Why? This is auto mourn. I feel it worse than you. Stevie Ray Vaughan. No words. Wait a minute. I said no words. I don't have words either. Excuse me. My loss is greater than your loss. No, it's not. Yet I was a bigger fan. Look, I got a picture of him. What difference does that make? It was a fan. Doesn't matter. I got a picture of him. I got a picture of nothing but dead people. So if somebody dies, I'm going to put my picture of him because I feel his loss more than you do. So don't even talk to me about your loss. If you want to go for my loss, I've seen this. I know people who all they do is they talk about, look at me, I'm standing next to this person. But they don't know you. It doesn't matter whether they know me. I'm standing there. Why are you doing this? I don't know. Now, what I like to do is then compare that to Instagram. Instagram, all bets are off. Instagram is the sickest of them all and the worst censorship of them all. Not only do you have a picture of you dancing in your kitchen in your socks, but you can put music into it. And you can have this, whatever the fad is, I'm doing. Have you seen the Crip dance fad? I don't know what this is. It's Snoop Dogg. Everybody's doing the Crip dance fad. Okay? And there's thousands of them. Or they will say, remember the Chinese cups? People take plastic cups, Dixie cups, and they'll stack them up. Who came up with that stuff? And I watched it for a while, and then they did that. Then that got bored. And then they were eating cinnamon for a while. I don't know what it was. And then, or they'll have, or this new fun. This new. It started with an Australian couple. It's the wife who laughs, and the husband tells her a dirty joke, or they play a comedic bit from somebody, and the wife is laughing. And she's got a nice laugh. And now there are people who are picking up with it. Anyway, make a long story short, I studied the subtext of this. These people did not exist before. They had no significance, but now they've got 20 million people following them. Following them doing what? I have no idea. They have completely destroyed the notion of what is and what isn't famous. They're famous for reasons that nobody can understand. They are people who live within Facebook. Remember when, was it not Mafia? What were those games they played on Facebook?
Mafia Wars.
Mafia Wars, Candy Crush. Farmland.
Those are the first Facebook
what
games I remember.
Was that? And then they would post their scores, or people on Facebook who will copy and paste the same thing. Whenever you receive somebody, realize that life is so precious. I've seen this. Schmuck, you're copying and pasting a meme. Is your life so bereft? This is what Facebook is. They live in Facebook. Let me say this again. You don't understand what I'm saying. You think I'm exaggerating. They live in Facebook. If I take away where they live, they don't exist. I'm going to say it again. They don't exist. So you can drop all the bombs you want on previously closed nuclear facilities. That's fine. But if you want to wipe out a country, you take their internet and you take away their identity. And then Instagram, the worst of the worst of the worst. This is where the most shallow base, this is it. And a lot of it's very good because you have information, and I like sometimes, here's one for you. And I have a relative, women in particular, who are now, I have a relative who is into folding clothes. Have you seen this? She said have you seen this? Folds shirts. There are ways, there's a little piece of cardboard that you unfold where you can perfectly fold shirts. So I called my other relative, the mother of this, and I said, there's something wrong with Nadine. Why? She's folding shirts. Why don't you get her to work in a Chinese laundry? I know one not too far from me where she can sweat her ass off in the back. If she wants to fold stuff, this is where to go. No, this is where we've gone. Folding, dead people, auto porn, chiropractic porn, and people getting arrested at Walmart. If I take that away, I take your life away. I'll tell you a true story. We have these, I kind of know these people. They always say, well, we're going to the Hamptons. We're going to the Hamptons. Oh, if we go to the Hamptons, yes, we're going to the Hamptons. Great. And by the way, if it has the word Hampton in the name of the city, Hampton, Hampton, that's good enough. Okay. That's like, where do you live? Westchester. Yonkers? Oh, yeah. Which is fine. Nothing wrong with Yonkers, right? But Westchester. You always say, right. Oh, really? Yes, right. Oh, I'm in Greenwich. I'm in Darien. Okay, great. That's terrific. What about you? Scranton. Hell's Kitchen. Still the best. I'm in the Hell's Kitchen. The best name there is. So anyway, one day I took this picture of an abandoned Airstream. You know, Airstream, one of those campers? You used to pull in the back of your car. It was abandoned. It was pink. It was on blocks. It was someplace. So I wrote this story out. I said, my wife and I are looking forward. 'Tis the season. We're gonna fire up old Shoe Baby, which is the name of our camper, which is actually Dutch Mantell's bullwhip. That's a long story. So I made this story up about how we go, and there's a Home Depot on the way to the Hamptons that allows us to hook up, and it's a joke. It's a joke. It's an abandoned Airstream, pink, that's rusted out on blocks. And I told people, this is where we go. And And I said, as far as we're concerned, this is Hamptons living because we're in the Hamptons. And it's just mocking everybody, viciously, brutally mocking. You know how many people said, "Oh, that's great. It's beautiful. Have fun." See, they didn't even get it. They don't even understand the fact that I'm directing it at them. How about this? Typical Facebook. We're in Sardinia. Right? It's a picture of me. Here's me, Colleen, the kids, and the boys. We're in Sardinia. I write, how long are you going to be there? And they'll write back, a week. Anybody home there now? And they'll say, well, no. You still have that key in the back of, they're telling you, they tell you, or they have in Facebook, they used to have a picture of, here's New York, and there's a ditto line, little hash marks to Sardinia, just so you can see it in an airplane, so you can understand how this map works. You traverse miles to let you know, here we are, we're rich, we're loaded, I'm going to Sardinia. I'm letting you know what I'm doing. I grew up in a time, and you probably did too. Riff doesn't know this. You probably had maybe one camera growing up, right? Your mother had it, your father, whatever it was. Like, hey, take the picture. Where's the camera? The brownie or whatever it is. I don't know. We got the picture here. Where's the camera? Get the camera. The camera. Okay, smile. Now smile. I got to pay for these pictures, so make sure this is good. Everybody look at me. Don't look away. And no half-eye. Look at me. This is expensive. Take the picture. Okay, I'll take one more, but make it good. Look at me. I got to pay for this. Did you ever do movie cameras? We had lights that were runway lights from JFK. Everybody looked like they were, they were squinting. It was horrible, the Super 8 thing. And you know what? That was good. And then you waited, maybe, and you didn't get the roll filled until you got every picture. And if it was a 36 roller, you might wait a year before you got this thing done. Hey, here's your second grade wedding birthday party. I'm 14 now. Well, it took a long time to fill there because you could go and cut the roll early, but that doesn't make any sense because you paid for it. We cared about pictures. We had maybe 1, 2, 3 pictures of grandma. Now we have 7,000 pictures on one day. Don't you see what's happening? Don't you see what's happening? And if you don't see what's happening, I can understand why. Dear God, it's going to be hot. Make sure doing Noam's report afterwards, you have this theremin music and doom and... Because this is the end of civilization, as we know it's going to be hot today.
It's going to be a hot one.
It's going to be a hot.
Stay cool.
Stay cool, please. Hydration. Drink plenty of water. You know you can drink too much water. You know, babies, fresh water will kill babies. Don't get me started with that one. That's a different story. Anyway, so that's where we are today. If there is one thing, my friends, that I can tell you, that makes me better than 99% of every living person on this planet. Oh, yes, I'll go that far. Oh, yeah. Now, hear me out. Don't get too excited about it. What makes me better than 99% is I have an absolute, insatiable curiosity for everything. And I realize I know nothing. If you can combine those two, admit your humility, you know nothing. But then to be like a sponge. There's a wonderful fellow on the internet, which is the greatest. You don't need to go to college. You have the greatest lectures, whatever you want. There's no reason for you to go to brick and mortar. I don't have to go to to Oxford to hear a series of lectures if you provide the series of lectures to me. That's it. When you take the bar exam, the old days you'd go to the bar, you had like Barbary or, when there was another one, and you would go to a class. You would actually go to these lectures, and you would It would be at a hotel, and it was, oh my God, it was the worst. Now you go online and you just hear the same thing, and it's easier and it makes sense, and it just the way it is. There's a fellow named Roy Casagranda. I think it's University of Austin or something like that. It is the most fascinating thing in the world. And I was trying to explain, you must grasp the notion of history. 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 We don't have a history. We have 250 years and we don't know anything. 250 years we don't know anything. We don't know anything. Imagine Persian history. Persian. Roman history. Gaius Julius Caesar. We call him Julius Caesar. I don't know why. It's Caesar. And what he did, he went into Gaul. I was just watching just before, just for fun. Gaul, which is now France. A third of that, it was like 3 million people. A third he killed outright. A third he enslaved. And a third he says, want to join me? Okay. It was genocide. It was the most horrible, brutal, the brutality. And the stories are fascinating. The people are fascinating. And there's this myth. I heard somebody the other day who said, don't you understand that the, quote, Middle East, and they never talk about the Near East, Far East, the Middle East has always been a hotbed. It's always been, from day one, this cacophony, this maelstrom of horrible, no, it's not. It's not. The only time it was ever the case is when Mongols or Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great, whenever there was an invasion, but there was nothing about them that necessarily made them tumultuous or cacophonous or whatever you want to refer to themselves as. We make that up. You must understand something. We make stuff up. Let me say that again. I don't think you understood me. We make stuff up, and it's not just us. Loads of people do this. Because if I can control your history, I control you. You know where the tumult was? You know where the horrors were? You know where it was? Europe. That's where the horrors were. Europe. That's it. It was a bloodbath. But nobody knows this because that's not, they also want to, they have these things where they, why don't you understand that this particular part of the history of Judea? I say, no, go back. Really, do you understand this? Because if you don't understand history, none of this makes any sense. I don't think it matters. How many times do you hear people say that Columbus says that he discovered? Nobody discovered anything. You can't discover something where there are people already there. And it wasn't America. He wasn't anywhere near this. He was in the Dominican Republic at best, maybe. I don't. So if you don't know history, if you don't understand it, if you don't grasp it, but more importantly, and this is the part that I cannot possibly convey to you. If I can't make you seem fascinated by something, I'm wasting my time. And that's the problem with us. Let me say something about my great country. I love America. I love my country. I hate our system of government. It's the worst. We have the worst people. The worst. I can't think of anyone that I can say in government I truly admire. Where I think, wow, that's our Gaius Julius Caesar. That is our Washington. That is our Bismarck or whoever whatever your version of. I like President Trump for a variety of reasons. But sometimes, as most of the time, I'll say, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. But you know what? I'll take it. I'm not going back to 4 years of that other idiot. But there's one thing that I want to tell you. Americans, by the way, if you come to our country, I will tell you, Americans know nothing. We are a baby. We are relatively unscathed by horror. We claim that, well, it was Pearl Harbor initially, and we claim that 9/11 was the 9/11 was the event that changed our life. 9/11. It changed my life. It red-pilled me, but for a different reason. And it will swear that America was transformed. No, it wasn't. We don't know anything. We're innocent. We're silly. We love not knowing anything. We love being, we go crazy. If you mention bilingual education, don't you talk about this. This is American. Damn it. This is Judeo-Christian, and that's it. I don't want to hear anything about anything else. And we just make this stuff up. And we say, this is this is a Christian country. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Why? Because I just made that up. I made it up. America is so great. Do you realize all of a sudden, overnight, everybody wants to get methylene blue because of Bobby Kennedy? We have no idea what it is. But you can't keep it in stock. Methylene blue. Can't keep it in stock. Turmeric. Can't keep it in stock. We go through fads. We are just incredible. And we have the attention span of a gnat. We have no sense of travel. We have no sense of perspective. We have no sense of history. We don't care about the other person. Let me tell you this much. I interviewed one time Robert McNamara. Robert McNamara, people, whether you hate him, like him, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. And what he did was very interesting. Robert McNamara wrote a book, I think it was The Fog of War. And he said, one of his rules, you must understand what it is that the other people want. What is called empathy. To understand them. Not sympathize with them, but empathize. Understand what they feel. That's it. That's it. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to understand it. And when it comes to understanding countries, whether it's Israel or Iran or France or whatever, nobody cares. None. Nobody cares. Nobody. We don't care about this. The hell with them. And we have this word called evil. And when we go, yeah, and that's it. And all of a sudden, overnight, we'll come up with this idea called evil. Somebody is evil. My favorite is satanic. That's my favorite one. They're satanic. But evil is the word that we love. Oh my God, we love this. Evil is this ancient, primal word that we all think of. We always say it's evil. I love that he's evil. The evil empire. Ronald Reagan said Russia was the evil empire. It's evil. Don't you understand? They're evil, which is live spelled backwards, which means nothing. And at the very core of this thing called evil, and I've looked at the definitions of this, and from what I can see, it's somebody who deliberately inflicts harm or suffering or death or pain or injustice with the awareness and the intent and the purpose of doing it. I want to inflict the pain. That is my purpose. Not that I want to do a particular behavior whose byproduct might be pain. And what? No, it's a different story. Evil is purposeful cruelty. It's knowing and deliberate, knowing something is wrong, knowing something is destructive, knowing if something's dehumanizing it, but doing it anyway for the purpose of that as the power or the pleasure, the ideology or whatever. And we use this word all the time, evil. I submit to you that there are very, very, very few evil acts, people, countries, very few people, countries at all. And I think one of the reasons for this, one of the bases or bases for it is sadistic. That's the word you want to use, not evil. And whenever people will look at me, and I've heard them say, This is nothing but satanic. And there are people I know, I said, do you believe in it? Yes. There are people that I know who believe in the embodiment of evil, as I've said, embodied in one entity called Satan. It starts with Satan. And therefore, if there were no Satan, there would be no evil. Think about that. Be no evil, see no evil, bow evil, nothing. You wouldn't see it. And I said, do you have any idea of how nuts that is? It's crazy. It's crazy talk. No, it's not. You don't understand. The source of evil is Satan. I'm thinking, you mean, wait, but there are other people who are evil and they don't know who Satan is. Doesn't matter. That's how good Satan is. He's so good, he takes over your life. You don't even know he's there. So I thought to myself, okay. What else is it? And we just make these up. Communism. It's communist. Don't you understand? Zoran Mamdani is a communist. He's running for mayor. Don't let that commie. He's a commie. Why is he a communist? I don't know. But he's a communist. He's a communist? No, you know what I mean. He's a socialist. Or he's a Marxist. And if you sat down with somebody, if you said, you said $25 million. Tell me what a socialist is. Tell me what a Marxist is. Tell me what a Marxist-Leninist is. Tell me what a communist is. Tell me about planned governments, planned economies. Tell me, what is this? What is the basis of this? I don't know what this is, but it's an expression that I use. I can't let that guy, he's a commie. Bernie Sanders, he's a commie. He is not. It's a welfare economy. That's not communist. That's not it. I've got a friend of mine who I believe deep down inside, he's certainly a socialist, and he might very well be a communist, but he swears he's not because he's not a member of the party. But he's a good egg, but he goes berserk. If you call AOC a commie he goes crazy. She's not! Don't say that! It's the most, I know this same person and his friends loved Trump. You know why? Loved him. Why? Because he worried about what? The common man. The worker, helping the worker, the laborer. Think about that. So when I talk to people about this, they have no clues of what he's talking about. Let me give you one more example about America. Why we're so bloody stupid. Sorry, it's true. The Diddy trial. Anybody who's ever had me on their show to talk about Diddy, I will never be going on again because I'm saying they're not charging him. They're not proving that which they charge him with. What? I said, I don't want to talk about baby oil. I don't want to talk about any of this stuff. The issue that you should be talking about, Mr. Commentator, is whether they are proving the case against him. This is as an example. And they say, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, I know what I'm talking about. Do you know how this case works? No, I don't, and I don't care about it. Do you know about due process? No, I don't care. I don't know anything about due process. I don't know anything. That's who America is. Let me also tell you one thing before we take a much-needed interruption, before our friend, the executive producer, chides me, excoriates me, and exposes my vuln, as it were. We will make up anything. We will do anything. We don't care about the rules, the Constitution. And let me say this about President Trump and anybody else for that matter. And you have to understand this. You have to understand this. He will do whatever he wants to do, especially when it comes to war. Not just him, Biden, Obama, Clinton, anybody. It started maybe with Reagan, Jimmy Carter. Well, he did it to an extent. We're a country, a wonderful people, but our government is fraudulent because we pretend that we have this Constitution, which we never pay attention to. We have this idea. Somebody told me the other day, I said, well, I'm not sure if President Trump or really anybody has the constitutional authority to authorize. Well, Obama did it. That was the answer. So my friends, understand something. I love my country. I love my people. I love you. Our government is the worst. Our system, we have no system. We have no constitution. None. We don't pay attention to it. Why? Because it gets in the way. It's not expedient. Our number is 800-848-9222, 800-948-9222. This is Lionel with you. By the way, remember, my website, for those of you who are interested, is lionelmedia.com. More of this, well, whatever this is, coming up after this admixture. David in Pennsylvania. David, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Hey, Lionel, can you hear me all right?
Are you on a speakerphone?
Not now.
Well, yes, you are.
What? Hey, you know what?
See, you lied to me. You lied to me because you just changed.
I am not now. I was.
See,
I'm
you
not
what?
now.
No, but you said you were when you were then. So you lied to me. But that's okay. I'll let you go. Tell me.
I'm not evil. Some people might consider evil United States Steel an evil corporation.
How is that?
For the environmental damage they have done, wantonly, randomly, not caring, not even giving a iota about the environmental damage they have done.
Give us an example.
Continue to do in southwestern Pennsylvania through 3 steel mills in particular, the Edgar Thompson Works in Braddock, the Irvin Works in West Mifflin.
Be specific.
And the Clareton Coat Works.
And what are their addresses, please, so the people will know exactly what. And I like the way you speak in this particular tone. Now, do you believe a corporation is evil, or those people who are behind the corporation? I don't believe
in people that work for them. All the employees could be considered
like
evil
this?
by many. Clareton, PA 15. What is the zip code there?
Okay, fine. This is. You know what? This is fat. You know, I would like to see, seriously, I'd like to see you do a drive-through Wendy's. I'd like to have a double Whopper. Done the Whopper. That's the other place. It's like you have a W.C. Fields kind of a style. And I like, David, what have you done to focus, to direct your particular thoughts, your anger? What have you thought, or what have you done specifically to address your ideas?
I played Donald Trump and did work briefly at the Wendy's pickup window in Pittsburgh. He did it at McDonald's. I'm a good American, too.
That's good.
I saw the tactics of the kids there that threw hamburgers together and then some, throwing them any which way they wanted.
Thank you so much. Remember when that was one of the best calls. By the way, flag that. Please send that to the sales department. Maybe they could put one of these horrible this camera here. This is horrible. This is like this 7-Eleven surveillance camera. I've seen bodegas with better. I'm just saying, it's just like the worst angle. Just saying. Just saying. Remember when Trump did that McDonald's thing? That was one of the greatest. They shut down the entire. That whole area, everybody there was a staged a drive-through. Everybody there was camp. And how about the person showing President Trump how to do fries? I thought it was absolute brilliant. Now, of course, Joe Biden couldn't have done that because if you're not going to let this decrepit man standing around hot oil, as it were. Now, understand something about. Oh, it's 31 past the hour, by the way, on the Lionel show, on the other side of midnight with Lionel, I should say. And God bless, by the way, I've got the best channel, National Geographic, as we speak, because people always ask me, tell us what you're watching, because I can't watch these news shows. John Mack. You know who he is? John Mack was the Harvard psychiatrist who interviewed hundreds of people, put them under hypnosis, and said they were actually they had experienced alien abductions. And they thought he was out of his mind, and they wanted to take away his Harvard tenure. And to his credit, if I recall correctly, Alan Dershowitz, I believe, came to his aid, and he did these various not seance, hypnosis, seance. He hypnoses, and turned out he believed to be telling the truth. Betty and Barney Hill. Do you believe in abductions? Anybody does? Do you think that's ever happened? Of course it's happened. Of course it's happened. Do you remember this fellow by the name of Dr. Lear? I think his name was Lear. He was a podiatrist. Did you ever hear this one? Dr. Lear, the podiatrist. Oh, this was a good one. This one always kind of caught my fancy. Let me ask my ChatGPT friend, Dr. Lear, the podiatrist who found rare metals embedded in the limbs of individuals believed to be that from alien visitations. All right, that's what I put up. And no, let's try this again. Ah, yes, Dr. Lear, a podiatric surgeon, Leir, who I believe passed away, a controversial figure. This is a man who gained notoriety in the 1990s. Listen to this one. Look this one up on your internets, as it were. In the 1990s and early 2000s, by claiming to have surgically removed alien implants from individuals who believed they had been abducted. The implants were small metallic objects with unusual electromagnetic properties. Some allegedly emitted radio frequencies or had unknown isotopic compositions. Lab analyses showed elements of isotopic ratios not typically found on Earth, and the implants were also found in people with no visible scars, nothing whatsoever. In fact, they were found without any inflammation or point of introduction. Weird triangular little, who knows what they were there for? Who knows the basis or bases for such? I thought that was so interesting. Now, if you went and you tried to ask anybody in particular, I'd like to ask the White House what they're going to do about this, what they thought. But if you ask anybody, what are your particular thoughts as to this, as to abductions and the like? Most people would say, that's crazy, you're crazy, it never happened. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are some things which I sort of believe in. Well, let me rephrase this. I believe people when they tell me that they have experienced certain things. I don't know if that necessarily means that there are interstellar or intrastellar, I guess, travelers and the like. I don't know. But I think they're telling the truth. I think there is something to a lot of stuff. And I also want people to involve themselves in delving into this. All right, I've said enough. Here are the numbers, 800-848-9222. Now, with the exception of chronics, I mean, they've been good, but lately they've been pretty bad. I want people to tell me, what are you going to be let me try this in English. What are you going to do today when the temperatures hit 101? What are you going to do? What is the worst physical weather you've ever experienced? What is the worst hellhole, the worst you've ever been? Talk to Vietnam veterans who had to sit through Vietnam during monsoons and they felt heat. I remember every Vietnam veteran, or put it this way, everybody, I can't begin to tell you the number of people that I've heard say this, that when they opened up what am I trying to say? They opened up the door, whatever it is, of the plane where they landed in Vietnam, the heat that hit them. And again, from somebody who's been a second generation Floridian, a Florida native, Florida, who was a cracker. By the way, you do know that, right? A Florida cracker is somebody who was born in Florida. It's a term of endearment, believe it or not. It refers to theoretically when the early settlers and folks would move across the state, cracking their whip, their bullwhip with cattle barons and the like. So that's it. What are you going to hear? Now, also, not what are you going to hear? That makes no sense. What are the stupid, we start off with what I began with this morning. What are the suggestions today that you're going to be watching. 800-848-9222. Now, let me explain to you. What I'm looking for today is very simply this. Again, not the chronics. But if you've never called, you thought to yourself, I've never called one of these before. I've never called one. Because let me be honest with you, a lot of, talk show hosts, I'm not going to name anybody in particular, they really don't want you to call. You get in the way. You're an interruption. It's true. They have their guests or they have their things, and you're just this, okay. And they're annoyed by you, or they're bothered by you because you don't know the routine. I'm annoyed by anything but you, provided you're an interesting person. Now, by the way, if you can withstand this horrible phone system that we have, which is terrible, where we can't talk kind of at the same time, if you can overlook that, we will get along just fine. 800-848-9222. And our friend Elias Riffraff, who's taken, I think, 3 calls tonight, he's making a ship in a bottle, actually putting it in the mainsail rigging. He has forceps, and he has long periods of time to work on this intricate gluing, because tonight we've not allowed for you to bombard us with your genius. So I want you to stop what you're doing, especially if you're wondering, what are we talking about? What is this? Even better, 800-848-9222. Listen to this one. Let me show you a perfect example of this. Edgar in the Bronx. I love that click sound. Edgar, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Thank you, Lionel. How are you doing?
Good, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of things. And,
a lot of things. Yes.
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 Yes, yes. First of all, I think when I turned on the program, you were talking about aging. And one of the most recent items of knowledge that I learned about the process of aging.
Oh, tell me.
I'm sure you're familiar with the notion of entropy.
Yes.
It's a term that comes, as you know,
random disorder,
physics.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And entropy is basically the degree of randomness.
Right? Random disorder. Yep.
In nature.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the understanding of entropy is that
yes.
Things, basically phenomena.
Yes.
They, over time, become more random.
That's
in their
correct.
composition.
Yes. Right. Correct. Yes.
And so I was listening to this doctor who was talking about getting old and all that, and he asked, well, you know why people get old, right? What this aging is about. And he said, that is the law of entropy operating within human life. And I found that to be so cogent, so real.
Well, entropy is interesting versus enthalpy, which is, of course, a thermodynamic quantity that measures total heat content. But we're not talking about that. I think it's very simple. Everything comes to an end. There is no such thing as anything that, well, put it this way. Everything comes to an end in certain forms. The question I have for you, Edgar, is that when we pass, when a physical being, and I notice you have a radio on in the background, is that what I hear?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm just pretending that I'm making you feel paranoid. That's okay. Work with me. Stay with me. Don't lose me now, Edgar. We'll get through this together, brother. We'll get through this together. Right. Take it easy. I notice a bit of tremulousness in your voice, and I don't blame you.
I am nervous.
Oh, stop it. What are you nervous about? This is nothing. We're talking on the phone. I'm your buddy. I'm your pal, Edgar. I'm your pal.
I understand.
Now, okay. I think that sometimes what happens is I don't believe there's an end to anything. I think there's an end to our existence in this life form, but then whatever that energy or spirit or soul, whatever you care to call it, that goes on into something else. And even a Planck Institute folks have figured this one out. But Edgar, may I ask, how old are you?
68.
68. And do you feel like you are, quote, aging or you are improving?
I see I'm experiencing entropy. Mm-hmm. You know, when I turned about 5 years ago, my body just started experiencing all the pains pain. Arthritic left hip that I had replaced.
How is that? How is it when you get when I was a kid, I never knew anybody, parents, relatives, anybody who had any hip or whatever replaced. Hip, shoulder, nothing. Never. Now everybody's getting hips and shoulders done. Do you feel an improvement after your hip was replaced?
Yeah, because my hip was invaded by arthritis. And it was 2020 was a year of torture. Torturous pain because, among other things, you couldn't see a doctor because with COVID took the priority.
Oh, I know, I hate it. Yes.
So, an appointment that was scheduled in April, I couldn't get it. I couldn't get the actual appointment until August. So, but I finally did get the left hip replaced. But other issues developed, which is basically this is entropy setting in.
I like the way you use the word entropy. This notion of this entropy, this disorder, this idea of uncertainty, but it's also energy dispersal, and a brief version of this says entropy, as according to what you're saying, is a measure of disorder, uncertainty, energy dispersal in the system. It allows increases in an isolated system. That's the second law of thermodynamics. Now, uncertainty is fuel. Entropy reduction is purpose. High entropy is opportunity. Entropy creates options. It's a notion of random disorder. And I'm glad you came to our attention, or brought that to our attention. And by the way, I hope your hip is better. I hope your health is continued. But by the way, that is physical. But your mental and your spiritual, that has improved, Edgar. Believe it or not, my friend, that has improved.
Okay.
You call me again. Promise me again, please, sir.
Promise you again.
Yes, promise me again. Thank you for being clear. Thank you that you will. Promise me you will call me again. I like that.
Yes.
Or
I will definitely.
Thank you, sir. Or he's very good. Or promise me again. I like that. He's a good man. I like that. Steve is calling in Virginia Beach. Steve, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm getting there. How about yourself?
Beautiful. Okay, we're off to a great start. Alrighty.
All right, so you want to talk a little bit about the hottest thing we've ever done?
What, if that's what you'd like to discuss, yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I served in the U.S. Navy until about 1992 in the engine rooms. We worked with 400 PSI, 975 degree steam, average temperature 110 degrees, about 90 to 95% humidity, 18 hours a day.
Dear God. Did you have any cooling clothing or anything? Were you in the nude? What did you do to protect yourself?
We sat under the vents as much as we could, and we hydrated as much as we could, but this was life. This was what you did. This goes out to all the pit snipes that are listening.
How many, what are they called? Pip snipes? What are they called?
That's what they called us, the guys who worked in the engine rooms and the boiler rooms, pit snipes.
Oh,
the pit snipes was where the engine room and the boilers were, and snipes were mythical creatures who never see the sun.
How about, did you ever lose mass quantities of weight? Were you all in good shape by virtue of this sauna that you were in at all times?
No, we didn't lose a lot of weight. I mean, your body builds up a tolerance to it after a time. You kind of get used to it, but it was never fun.
What does it feel like being underneath and away from the madding crowd of fellow humanity? You didn't see ports and water and ships. You just saw gears and engines, and it's got to be tough.
Well, let's put it this way. We knew that if anything ever happened to the ship, the only way we'd get out first is if it capsized.
Touche. Steve, thank you for your call and your service, sir. Dave in Minnesota Calling from WCCO, Dave. You're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Yeah, Lionel. Hey, I just started listening to you recently.
You're the one.
And I really enjoy you.
Yes, sir.
You're a bright guy. We want to talk about some weather extremes. I got a quick story for you.
Please.
This other guy talking about the heat. Well, it could get a little chilly in Minnesota.
I'll bet.
Back in about, it was either 1976 or 77. I think it was 76. It was January, and I didn't have a phone at that time, and there was a pay phone across the street, on the corner from the apartment where I live.
Wow!
And I can say it was January, and I think it was like about 30-something below.
Wow! Actual temperature or feels like?
No. This was actual. This was Minnesota. I think the wind chill was in the 60 below.
Dear
but
God.
It was 30 something below zero.
Why didn't you move?
It passes, man. Anyway.
And so do you. Go ahead, proceed, sir. I'm sorry.
Nah. Hey, I'm going to be 77 years old here. In
Bless your heart.
Weeks.
Bless your heart. That's our favorite number here at the mothership.
Hey. Anyway, I go over to use this phone.
Mm-hmm.
It was frozen.
Wow.
It was the frost had built up. I mean, this thing, was unusable. The frost, the freezing, it was just, it was crazy, man. Anyway, it's a crazy world we live in, boy.
I don't know. I remember only one time where I was in New York where it was the coldest, and I thought my eyeballs were going to freeze. I remember being in the somewhere east side or lower east side. I felt like my eyeball. I felt like somebody stuck a needle in my eye, and I also remember at one time being so hot here in New York City that we literally, and we're using that term correctly, went from door to door, from built just to go in and to withstand it. I thought it was the end of the world. Just two particular occasions. Now, Dave, what do you do? Tell me about you in the world of Dave.
I'm going to be 77 years old.
You've said that. You're very proud of that, and I appreciate that.
I'm retired.
Okay.
And
what did you do?
I started school, after high school, and started college a couple different times, and I don't know. I just didn't care for higher education.
I can understand that.
And so I always enjoyed driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up, being a driver, and I drove everything from motorcycles to semis and dump trucks, and so that's what I did most of my life was drive. Hey, do you like magic?
I sure do. Can you do a magic trick for us?
No. I got a recommendation though. Did you ever hear of a guy named Justin Willman?
No, I have not, sir. But I'm writing it down.
You got to check this guy out. He's fantastic. He's on Netflix. I just watched him last evening. Anyway, the program, you go to Netflix. It's Justin Willman.
I'm looking at it. I got it right now. Justin Willman. I'm looking at it right now. He's 44 years old. And
magic lover.
Now, let me ask you something.
About an hour this guy is absolutely amazing. You got to watch that program.
I will say something.
I recommend it for anybody that's listening out there.
I thank you for that, Justin Willman. Thank you for that, Dave. I hate magic. I hate magicians. I hate that kind of a David Copperfield, like, ooh, you got that look on your face like, no, you're not Merlin, okay? When you tell me you're going to I don't even need to show the magic. Just do me a favor. Just tell me what you're going to do, and I believe you. I'm going to saw the lady house. Okay, what else? It's like I told you before. It's like reading a birthday card or reading a Christmas card, and I read the return address. I know who it is. I don't have to open up the card. And if you tell me how you're going to make an ace reappear, I believe you, because what you're showing me is a trick, and magic is just an expression. I love the word mélange. Mélange. A pastiche. A myriad, a mosaic, I love slumgullion. An
Amuse-bouche.
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 Amuse-bouche. Thanks, right. Amuse-bouche. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, this man's been waiting 20 years to use amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche.
I went to school with her cousin, by the way. Now, if we could take amuse-bouche and move that into Gia, wow, we are talking some kind of. By the way, I don't know if you fellas knew today.
Up in the morning,
Yeah.
thinking about so
Go
many
outside.
things. I just wish things would get better.
I know
I'm
it
trying
bees
to
like
get
that.
rid of them, but nothing seems to stay the same.
Oh, yeah. Together.
Woke
Wow.
up in the morning.
Amuse-bouche.
Yes.
Getting my clothes
Number
on,
9. Number
walking
9.
into school.
19.
Thinking of what is going to happen next. Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Things are just caught up in my mind. Just cannot get rid of them.
Amuse-bouche.
That's right. If we could put that together, we're send us your favorite annoying word, and we'll work this into our song. Today, by the way, as you know, it's going to be very, very hot. And what are you fellows going to be doing? Anything in particular? Are you taking any precautions? I know when you drive 50 miles to get a roll to go to your double wide on the shore, anything you're doing?
Blasting my air conditioner.
Yeah,
That's about
of
it. What else
Yeah,
what else can I possibly do?
What about you, Riff? Any ideas?
Constantly checking the weather to make sure it goes down.
Yes,
a few
right.
degrees.
I found the best thing, and I don't have any pull or this, but at Costco, I walked in one time and they had this thing called a Woozoo. It's a little fan, and it has a little device. Oh, you can sit there, and I swear to God, we turn that thing on, and it is a mother. It just is the greatest device. You don't need anything. I bought 2 of them. It's a Woozoo. And it's a fan that is so directional. It is so perfect. It is so, and I'm telling you, if ever, so I'm sure if you cannot purchase an air conditioning unit per se, this, and if you could put it, and we have a Woozoo next to the air conditioning, which we could hang meat in this, because I prefer to be cold. Because you don't understand, I hate heat. I remember one time, years ago, on my way to court in the morning, I would get up and start the air conditioning in my car, 7 o'clock in the morning. It was just horrible. I hate the heat. As these people say, oh, no, I love going out. You're demented. Heat is horrible. So please, today you're going to be hearing all kinds of, please, they're going to be saying, hydrate. For the love of God, hydrate. Hydrate. Just drink, hydrate, and be careful with the plastics. If you hydrate with the bottle, with the plastic, you got the plastics. So you're drinking the plastic. Oh, dear God. But use some methylene blue. Why? I don't know. Bobby Kennedy used it once. And where is Bobby Kennedy? What happened to Bobby Kennedy? Wasn't he supposed to indict Fauci or something? I don't know. And what about Epstein? And what about Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi? Remember this? Now we're into regime change. Just as they get used to something, they change. Everything Trump so far has been saying, they're saying, okay, I'm going to bomb Iran. Okay. I want a ceasefire. Okay. I want some regime change. Fair enough. Everything he says. How is he doing this? God bless that man. If he can do it, fantastic. I wish he'd help with regime change in New York, because we haven't had a mayor of any kind of worth since, well, Bloomberg wasn't. He was, but Rudy was. I'm sorry. That was just, dear God, that was. Oh. Do you remember when he came into office and he got rid of these squeegee men overnight? Remember that? Remember they talked to people, you can't make me go. Next day, gone. He picked up, there were units of these black panel trucks that pulled them in. They lobotomized them and put them and sent them into a gulag somewhere on some island. And they're walking around making basket. They're just gone. He just got rid of them immediately. That's what we need. We need regime change here in New York. Let's go to Sheldon. Sheldon in Manhattan. Sheldon, you're on the other side of midnight with Lytle.
Yes, thank you. I'm saying what I'm about to say. I hope is for your listeners to contact some high-level government to take care of this problem. That
you got me worried. I don't even know what the hell it is, but you got me worried. What is it, Shell?
I'm ready. It's not a problem, but it could become one. The two cases from the Chinese who came in pathogen, which is tantamount to COVID-19.
And what is it?
It was caught. And the other person had something that could affect the crops.
Well, what is the pathogen?
I don't know what it was, but
we got to know what it is. How can I call up and say, "Listen, do something about this"? I don't know what I don't know what those. There's agro-terrorism. They found those Chinese. So all you got to do is say Chinese, and that's it. Just Chinese.
But what I'm advocating if people can contact someone at a higher level of government, that since these people are part of the Chinese country, that there should be $1 billion fine if anyone else brings anything in.
Yes.
Stop them from bringing it in.
$1 billion. Now, Sheldon, do me a favor. Let's assume that you were to call somebody who is above, somebody of higher level or whatever it is. Give me an idea of what that conversation would sound like, sir. Give me an idea of what you would suggest people say.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have in the recent past, two cases people who could disrupt the country of the United States by bringing in things that could affect the crop, or could affect their very well-being. Something I don't know what the pathogen. Please forgive me, because they may not know what it is. So I'm saying that in order to stop in the future, if there is a fine for anyone, since the government allows people to come in, that please put in some big fine, and that'll deter any of these people. A big fine. I'm saying real big, real big.
Big, Sheldon, big, and not some amuse-bouche, but a big one. Thank you, buddy boy.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's go to Lauren right now. Lauren in Chicago, WGN country. You're on the other side of midnight with Lionel, and she's got something to say. Lauren, hit it, girl, hit it. Hit it. It's gonna be a hot one today. It's gonna be a hot one.
Seriously, I called last week. I'm not disguising my voice. My name is Lauren. I'm a critical care nurse.
This sounds like a 12-step program. Hello, my name is Lauren. Hello, Lauren. And I'm perennially vague. Hello, Lauren.
Please hear me out.
And these are my sins. Bless me, Father. Go ahead. What is it?
Okay, the topic is, I know, I'm trying to lead the comedy to you, okay?
Oh.
I need the comedy.
Well, thank you. You're doing a hell of a job so far. I don't know if I can top this. You are winning me over.
No,
it's a
seriously.
laugh riot. Go ahead.
No, I'm serious. I got the inspiration just after watching Dick Van Dyke. I want to be Dick Van Dyke.
You want to be Dick Van Dyke?
Writer. Huh?
You want to be Dick Van Dyke?
No, the idea for career change, comedy writer.
Yes.
Can you tell me how to start? I'm standing on the bridge, and I'm at the end of my rope. Honest to God, I came home tonight from a shift. Okay, I'll stick to the facts, only the facts.
And
okay?
you are a first responder.
Yes.
Where are the second responders? Do we ever hear from those people, or do nobody cares?
I don't know.
Okay.
But you digress.
Mm-hmm. Don't I ever? That's the charm. Well, what was so bad? What was so bad about your shift tonight, as it were? And who gives a shift? Anyway, well, what happened?
You just don't understand.
Well, maybe if you tried explaining.
I'm listening too hard. I came home.
Yeah.
From an awful shift, but
you said that, yeah.
But like we say, at least no one died.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an inside joke.
Yes, but not in your ambulance. The people you helped died.
The helicopter.
But nobody. Oh, you're right, because you are a nurse on a helicopter, and you're trained to fly the helicopter in the event something happens to the pilot.
Correcto mundo.
Right. See, that fascinates me. How much actual helicopter? That's a lot of training involved for you to just take over.
What was your first?
I have no idea.
You're digressing.
I have no idea. I was talking about telling people what you did. I don't think that's much of a digression by introducing you to the audience.
You think I'm cute? Okay, you're right. Enough said.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm laughing so hard I wanted to cry.
I like the way you say, I'm laughing so hard. That's the hard.
Hard.
You have art in the car. Don't fart in the car. I've got art in the car. I'm laughing hard.
Now it's diction. Okay.
No, it's okay. No, it's not diction. It's pronunciation. That's okay.
Okay.
You could do a lot of good stuff like ED pills. Hard.
Oh God, my dog is like, Mom's gone nuts. She's gone nuts.
So what? How can we help you, Lauren?
It's his fault. It's my dog.
Okay.
I walk. He greets me because he gives me a look like you're late, bitch.
Right.
And he didn't call. So what's the first thing I do? I open the front door and he's like runs to greet me. The first thing I do is walk him, but he was so pissed off at me. Right. He's like, F you, I'm doing it myself. No sooner does he do that I have a morbid fear. I'm not kidding you. And you of mice.
Oh yes.
Okay.
No. Let me tell you something. It's funny you say that. One night watching TV, all of a sudden this thing zips across, and they just they'll go into some little hole or something. Say, where in the hell did they just disappear? And my heart was racing, even though I know intuitively, intellectually, it's not going to attack me. It's more afraid of me. But I'm thinking, well, listen to this. So one night I was doing a show, and my wife was there, and we had a glue trap. One of these glue. I never really thought about that before. The idea of it, and this thing ran across, hit that glue trap, and let out nothing but squeals. So not only are you looking at it.
Wait. You were the mouse.
Yeah. Lauren, whatever you're smoking, you got your money's worth, young lady. You have a great day.
No, caffeine.
Caffeine in the car. The art.
Coffee. I drink coffee. That's the only drug I do, caffeine.
Well, that's your problem. May I suggest serious anxiolytics? Thank you for that. No, seriously, that sound of that mice, that is not, yeah. Ooh. When it's that high squeal, ooh. And even though, but I'm saying intuitively, the mouse is not going to hurt me, but it's that darting across. It's a very frightening effect. Let's go back to the phones, back to what I call fun. Let's go to Pete in Hackensack. You're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
How you doing, Lionel?
Good, Pete.
Do you like music?
Oh, are you kidding me? Does the Pope, you know what in the woods? Absolutely.
What was your first concert?
Three Dog Night, Humble Pie, outside, unbelievable. Buddy Miles, I think.
Yeah, and what was your best concert, and why was it your best? Like you were when you were walking out of that arena, you said, "Wow, man, this is a great show."
It's a great question. I think might have been, believe it or not, yes, just to see the lasers and that. What about you, Pete? Enough about me. What about yours? What was your first concert?
My first concert was Led Zeppelin at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
And it just blew me away. And the best concert, and I recommend it to anybody who's listening, is to see Ringo Starr and his All-Stars.
Really?
Because yes, he was the best concert I've ever been to. And in fact, the last time I really saw a concert where I went, wow, it happened to be, I happen to have the same birthday as Ringo Starr, July 7th, and I saw him at Radio City, and and it was his birthday and my birthday. He turned 70.
Wow. And now he's 80. Now he's well into his 80s, and I think looking great and not looking comical. You know what I'm saying? Not looking comical. I appreciate that immensely. Our number is 800-848-9222. This is Lionel with you on a show that we call, appropriately enough, The Other Side of Midnight. Amuse Bouche and the Hottentots, which is a really weird group that nobody remembers. That individual, this is Corey Wells from Three Dog Night. He was the best. Mama told me not to come and all that. What's that wind in the water? Sugar the tea. What's all them crazy questions asking me, you know? This is Danny Hutton and Chuck Negron. Danny Hutton, by the way, is 80. I was just watching an interview with him on the internets, on YouTube or whatever it was. He is the best. And the best song Three Dog Night ever did is Good Feeling 1957. It goes back to their doo-wop days. The best song. Mike Alsop on guitar. Jimmy Greenspoon, I believe, on organ, or no, on keyboards, or organ. Joe Skirmy, Floyd Sneed. They were that band. They were incredible. Three Dog Night was so big. They made Elton John. Sorry, they did. Hoyt Axton, Laura Nyro, Paul Williams. Remember him who wrote Out in the Country? Harry Nilsson. They introduced all these people. Remember, Nilsson did one. Joy to the World. Jeremiah was, remember, Hoyt Axton. Phenomenal. They were so good. And then Corey Wells died. And then Chuck Negron. Notice how I say that. He was a complete drug addict degenerate. And he kind of veered off. And then there was Two Dog Night. You know where the name Three Dog Night comes from? Amuse Bouche. That's where it came from. No, it came from an Alaskan reference for when it was cold. Some nights it was so cold you would have one dog you would sleep with. I know the joke you're gonna be. But the other one was if it was really cold, it was a 3 dog night. Anyway, it's so funny you say that because I was just watching on YouTube Danny Hutton, who's 83. Before, when I was on my way to get some Java, I walked by and I said I wanted to show these gentlemen here in the crew this one YouTube channel. It's this creepy chiropractor who's basically looking at this young lady's butt, and it was creepy. And I said, "Let me show you this." And it was titularly styled as some chiropractic event or instructional. So I walked in, and Riff Raff says, "Oh, I know that guy. He knew all about him, knew his work."
Moose Bouche.
I want you to look to your right. See, gentlemen, see right now? See this? There is a device that they have. It's called Power Assist. It's this device when you're sitting. It's called, no, her name is Clarissa. What is it called? You put your feet in it, and this pedal, and it starts moving. And you can adjust the speed. And you have these older people who are grabbing their legs in pain beforehand. So you have this device, you put your feet in it. What is the name of this? And it starts moving. And they show other attempts at people trying to do it, where you have to physically move it yourself, but you don't have a name for it. And I watch this all the time on these various late night shows. Also, The Ellipse is called. They also have Kathy Garver. Remember who plays Sissy? She's for a phone system, so you can read what people are saying to you. I guess if you're deaf or whatever it is. So this is when you know you've hit it. I love commercials where they'll try to show you, are you tired of trying to make eggs at home? No, not really. And they'll say, tired of the mess? There's no mess. Tired of the pain, the agony? There's no pain. And they'll cut to a black and white picture of this woman trying to crack an egg, and it's shards of egg, and she's covered in yolk, and you're wondering, who are these people? Why are they having such a difficult time making an egg? Are you tired of the blood, the mayhem, the disgust? No, the ridicule. What are you talking about? It's just making an egg. Well, now there was a Ronco, this little egg spinner. It was a little needle that would go into the egg, and it would spin so that when you crack the egg, it was already blended. There was no need for you to take the fork and whisk it. And I thought to myself, who, tired of all, this one device replaces all of these pots and pans. And you see this woman looking frustrated. She's sweating, black and white. She swiped. I loved commercials. Ron Popeil, at 30 past the hour, by the way, on the other side of midnight with Lionel. Ron Popeil changed my life. Remember the Set It and Forget It? Remember GLH, great looking hair? He sprayed that thing. They had the people in the audience. They would try everything. Pocket fisherman, the pot rhinestone and stud setter. He even had this device where you could take a bottle, a wine bottle, sever it, cut the top of it off, sand the edges, and make a drinking glass out of it. Who needs to go? I don't want to go buy glasses at, Pier 1, which is closed now. Give me my old stuff. I watched that, but Set It and Forget It. How people in the audience, I always wanted to go to one of those tapings because the people in the, how about the woman for Dump Cake? Seen her? This Dump Cake lady, she just basically throws garbage into a thing and she goes, it's a dump cake. I watch these things with such care because I love selling stuff. I love when people do this. And I love when people in the audience. Oh, there was a woman named Kathy. No, I know what it was. It was a fellow who was selling copper coated or copper, some type of frying pan. You need no oil, no heat, no nothing. It just somehow it was perfect. And this woman says, here we go. You can do this, this, and this. And she would say, now, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Are you telling me that I can get rid of a frying pan, a Dutch oven, and a casserole, and a wok with this? Yeah. You're out of your mind. No, Sally. It's true. And I would watch these. And how much is it? Is it $20,000? Nope. $10,000? No. $500? No. I say, why are you starting so high? Is it $1,800? No, it's not $1,800. Start lower. Try this. Is it $50? Yes. Oh, there we go. But I watched these and the art of this. The art. I'm sorry, I veered off for a moment. I was just waxing rhapsodic for a moment. Mike in Pennsylvania, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Hi, Lionel. How you doing?
Good, sir.
I just drove past the Federal Building downtown.
Downtown what?
Downtown Manhattan.
Okay.
They got a batch of police cars over there, all with their lights going on. They're just all standing by there. They must be getting ready for a demonstration. But the one thing I called you about, everybody seems to not realize that Curtis Lewa is in this mayor race.
Absolutely.
And he's your best choice.
Absolutely.
50 years in the city.
Let the record reflect. Curtis and I were texting each other last night, and I was telling him, Curtis, stop texting me. But aside from that, he is, without a doubt, he's my vote. I'm not saying this. There is nobody else. Who?
Nobody.
No,
you got to remember, when you talk Bloomberg, that's when the city started going down. Why? Bloomberg was from Boston. He wasn't a New Yorker.
That's right.
He's proved this. He went along. De Blasio was from Boston. He wasn't from, and he changed his name to De Blasio.
Right. His name was Wilhelm, or what was his name? Wilhelm or Willem, or
like a German name. But he changed his name to his father.
Right.
Who he disowned because it was more Italian, more New York type of name.
Do you remember, Mike, the reason why, and I tell people this and they think I'm kidding or psychotic, which could very well be, but do you remember why de Blasio was elected. He was a public advocate, which nobody understands what that was. Ever since Mark Green, nobody knows what a public advocate is. But according to the charter, he's number 2 in line. Do you remember why? Because, and this is important to note, because when they were doing focus groups for de Blasio, this man who got bigger, he would always like downplay. Oh, how tall are you? 6'3". You're not 6. You're like 6'9", 6'10". I mean, he would dwarf NBA players. In any event, and he had a woman. Remember, Charlene. She was a lesbian. Then she's not. Then she. I don't know what. Who? What am I? Whatever. Whatever works for you. I don't care. But they did this. This is from what I've heard, and I kind of believe it. They were doing focus groups, and they were asking people, "This is his family. Here's de Blasio, who, by the way, couldn't. The man was exciting as a wet fart. Couldn't lure me out of a burning building. All right, but they were showing these photos and shots of de Blasio and his family, and somebody in the focus group said, "Hey, who's that?" And they said, "What do you mean?" "That kid, I guess. Oh, that's his son Dante." "Is that an afro?" "Yes, it is." "Ha! It's an afro." Yes, it's an afro. Okay, anyway, so what do you think about de Blasio? How long has he had that afro? What's with you in the afro? I don't know, his life? That's a great afro. And they said, wait a minute. They love the afro. The only thing they noticed is that when he was doing this one kitchen shot, it might have been a bit posh, but they turned the angle and they showed Dante. And Dante, of course, who was a ball of fire, he figured, I don't want to do that. The man said 2 words. He became a Yale. I think he went to Yale. He never spoke, but that's okay. So he had the afro. Then all of a sudden, they were doing these choreographed thing, and there's Dante, got to wear the afro. And they probably told Andre, if you lose that hair, if you cut that hair, they probably insured it like Betty Grable's legs. But that is the reason why de Blasio became, more importantly, mayor, was because of his son's afro. And when I tell people that, they think, no. I say, no, that's exactly right. Let me tell you something about Curtis. I've known Curtis now for 30 years. 30 years. And when I first came to WABC, that I didn't know. He was on in the morning with his then wife, Lisa. And it was a very nice person. I always liked her. And I didn't know. I came in you know what? And they, of course, they are wanting to kill each other in the morning. And that's not good. That's not good. You don't have to be a kind of a radio expert in terms of programming. That's not good when you hear things like, you son of a, it's just not good. So whatever reason, they moved, and then I came in. Of course, Curtis hated my guts and would not talk to me until an event happened. And I'm not going to go into detail. But I went to him and I said, now look, you and I, this is a true story. I said, you and I could, we could continue doing this, or we can join forces. And we did. And he became my brother in solidarity. And from that day, I'm glad to say he's a dear friend. Let me also tell you about something about Curtis, which is the most important thing to understand. Now I'm going to bring in, by the way, a list of all of my Curtisisms, Curtis Lewisms, and malaprops and spoonerisms. But he is one of the smartest people. He does this Hunts Hall, Leo Gorsey thing, and no. He is and I'm not saying that to be gratuitous. I mean it. He knows things. He gets it. And this is the only man who can talk about being shot, but they were going to kill him. He talks about, when the Gambinos killed me. What? How many people can tell this story and speak about it like, when my Uber was late, the man's got stories of what he did. Have you ever walked with him on the street? People go berserk. He's the most famous person. So anyway, I can't say enough about him, and I am telling you this for whatever it's worth. I don't know if there's some violation of some campaign rules. That's the guy that I would vote for because I know him, and I'm thinking to myself, who else? Cuomo? You know what it is when Cuomo says he's not as crazy as this guy Zoran? I mean, think about this. This is serious stuff, my friends. In any event, let's go to Jim in a place called Nutley, New Jersey. Jim, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Good morning, Lionel. Hey, I don't know why everybody's making such a big deal of this primary because they're all on other parties. If they don't win the Democratic nomination, what's the difference? They're on other parties, and it doesn't seem to make much difference. And also, one thing that's kind of upsetting to me is how David Patterson is actually endorsing Cuomo. Now he's the stepfather of Curtis's son. I mean, if he wants to vote for Cuomo, that's okay. But I don't think he should, endorse Cuomo. It's like a slap in the face to Curtis. You know what I mean? It might even hurt Curtis's.
Well, but Curtis is a Republican, and maybe it's just because of the no. I think it might be because of the party line.
Yeah, but I mean, and also it's like if anybody that doesn't vote for Curtis is a screwball. I mean, how could this guy not be mayor? I mean, he'd be the best thing that ever happened in New York.
You hear that conviction? When you talk about Cuomo, they think, well, it's better than. Isn't that great? Vote for Nature Boy Matt Blaze. He's better than Amuse Bouche over here. He's better than him. He's better. Not as bad. My favorite endorsement ever was SCTV. I think it was Vic Hedges who was running for mayor. I think the story goes. Anyway, but the line was, Vic Hedges, sure he's crazy, but what if he's right? When I got out of college, I was working for a senator that was doing all kinds of these various campaign events. And in the panhandle of Florida, there was a guy who ran, I forget his name, but his motto or his slogan was reasonably honest. I thought that was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. In 1950, I believe, a fellow named George Smathers, who was JFK's good buddy, George Smathers ran for senator against a fellow named Claude Pepper. And they called him Red Pepper because they thought he was a commie or something. So anyway, when he ran, there was a famous story. You can look it up. He said things like, now I have it on good authority that Mr. Pepper's sister is a thespian from New York. And that was supposedly a true story. But people have always said it. Now, let me explain something. I have a very, very simple thing to say regarding any kind of politics. You can only run one time because but you're immediately a lame duck. But you can only run one time because what happens is when you run the second time, the first thing you're trying to do is to get reelected. And you start making deals with people. So there's got to be some kind of rule where you can only run one time and that's it, period. We also have to have minimum amounts of money that you can make outside of your tenure. We will presume when I see these Congress people coming out making $5-10 million, it's like, you were a congressperson. How did this happen? But the first thing I believe is that we need to have, in some cases, shoot to kill, I think might be reintroduced. Shoot to kill on certain ideas. The first thing I would do with, if I, not necessarily shoot these people, but I would immediately get rid of e-bikes, pedicabs, and that weird Amazon rickshaw thing, whatever. I don't even know what this is. Have you seen this? It's this Amazon little scooter e-device. I don't know what this thing is, but I've been almost clipped 3-4 times by it. And they have a rule, apparently, where they don't and this is e-bikes in general, they don't believe that lights, whatever, mean anything to them. That's the thing. Next, I would have a rule as follows. I would have on all sidewalks 3 lanes. The first lane would be, I'm a New Yorker, I know where I'm going, get out of my way. Just the second lane might be a little more tenuous, a little more, I'm not sure. And the third lane is where tourists come, where they can just stop all of a sudden and look up and take a picture of something. You ever see somebody at the top of a subway who just stops? They just stop. There's also a rule I would have. You can only walk in the direction of your face. If you're walking towards me, if you want to look to your right, you must walk that way. Because I've seen people walk straight, and I will stand my ground. I will brace myself when people are walking towards me, looking the other direction. It drives me absolutely nuts. I would then close all cannabis stores immediately, just for purposes of my own olfactory senses. And I would hand out not old, but 1970s strains of actual marijuana. If you're going to smoke dope, smoke dope. Not this skunk weed. I want to be able to smell at least something. Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Maui. Oh, not from what I've heard. This is the thing which drives me absolutely crazy. Next rule is there will be no such thing. You cannot ask for a tip at a laundromat. You can't do that. You can't have a thing that says tips. It's like you didn't do anything. You got my tips? How about when you go someplace, we were in a mall, and they had a little gelato. The guy's serving gelato. He's standing right in front of you. Didn't do anything. I'm going to him. I pay with a credit card. He goes, you can put a tip. A tip. And by the way, tip does not come from to ensure promptness. That's ridiculous. Because that particular phrase went all out, or went out years ago. I don't understand, but I would be one of the best people ever running, ever. Because first of all, you would love my debates. You would love it. Every time, I would hope to be as popular as President Trump. You would come to see me because I would destroy people. Not necessarily make a point logically, but from an argumentative point of view, you would say, I love this guy. You got to watch him. Watch him in a debate. And why? Because I would own the airwaves, because I would be immediately viral on YouTube. So I would do something really nasty, like I would point at somebody or insult somebody's family. Remember when Rick Lazio, Hillary Clinton and Rick Lazio, they were in a debate. And Rick Lazio kind of walked over near her, and she was like, what are you doing? What's going on here? What? He goes, get away from me. And he said, okay. And they said, like, wow, you violated her space. He just walked over there, and they made this big deal. By the way, the best debate ever, if you can ever see this, is Bernadette Castro and Daniel Patrick Moynihan. I think it was Channel 7 debate. Moynihan never looked at her. She would say, hello, and what you did. And he says, and I believe. And he just looked at the person, never even looked at her. It didn't acknowledge her. So anyway, as far as I'm concerned, maybe my endorsement hurts. Maybe Curtis is saying, no, don't. He's the only person. And Cuomo, come on. Please. That way you might add, hello, I'm Curtis Lewa. Cuomo, please. Come on. Paid for. I'm Curtis Lewa, and I approved of this. In any event, this is Lionel with you on a show that we called appropriately enough The Other Side of Midnight. But by the by, let me just fill you. Do you know the number one form of inclement weather, or that kills more people, is heat? And that's the truth. And I must also ask you, wonderful people, please do not go out in the sun and bake. Now, listen to this. I don't know if you just heard this. But apparently, after everybody was happy with the ceasefire has been canceled. Did you see this one? Tragedy, 4 Israelis killed in a devastating Iran missile attack as Trump warned ceasefire has begun. Well, apparently it's been canceled. So that was rather short-lived. I don't know how long that was, but that is a tragedy to be sure. Let me also remind you of something, and this is something which I think is critical. Try your best today in particular when it comes to anything, all matters political, to understand what the issues are and to understand what people are saying. And you're not going to be able to understand how to best fix something if you do not understand the history and what people are saying and the motivations of all folks involved in a particular conflict. Let me tell you something which is, again, something that I learned years ago. Whenever you want to look at a war, whenever you want to look at anything, whenever you want to look at crime, serial killing, anything, you have to ask yourself the question, what do other people think? What is their framework? Let's be empathic to an extent. And I don't mean sympathetic, but understand what it is that motivates them. And unless you can do that, you're wasting your time. You're just wasting your time. And it's a very, very, very terrible situation. I also must say this to you. There are people, as you know, in the world of, social media platforms who enjoy the idea that people are listening to them and following them. And their idea is to go out and to cut through the nonsense, but raise the volume. And I could go through, I'm not going to name names, but there are people who go out and they scream and yell. And what happens is, after they've done one particular set of coverage, they figure, that did great, my metrics are terrific. So the next time they come out, they sound even more angry. And that veers into and turns into what appears to be hate. It sounds like you hate the people. It sounds like you hate the people and whatever. If that ever becomes a part of your understanding, you've lost completely. You've lost everything. Another obvious point, which I want to make clear, the people who suffer are those individuals from any particular culture, any particular group, who have to sit through this and have to take it. They're the people who have to suffer. And when we sit back and we think like, yeah, I know how those people feel, ask yourself how the world feels about us. You see, what people forget is that we've done some things which are kind of, well, right now, I told you, we're since our formation in 1776, we have been at war in one form or another 93% of the time. We have about 750 military bases in 80 countries as we speak. We kind of are spread a little thin, as it were. The issue then becomes problematic, and I will say this, with people understanding that what people think of us is so sad to me. I'll never forget, after 9/11, people were saying, what does Iraq have to do with 9/11? After 9/11, Vladimir Putin called up George Bush and said, what can I do to help? I know about these people. I know they're in the Caucasus, and we've had our own particular terrorists. No thanks. They had a candlelight vigil in Tehran. The world was behind us 100%. Everybody was. Oh, there were some few people here and there, but it was unanimous. And immediately we squandered that. And I'll never understand why. Well, then I understood why. I didn't understand then. Because then you find out what our reaction was. Listen to Wesley Clark. Listen to what we said. Listen to what PNAC said. The Project for a New American Century. Look at this. And ask yourself another thing, too, which, if you got some time today, when it comes to Iran, I can't do the Iran thing, but I'm trying, I guess, maybe. Look up 1953, Mossadegh, and how we, with this feller named Kermit Roosevelt, decided that we were going to initiate a coup and install the Shah of Iran. Now, that may not mean much to you. That may be something of the past. But think about the kind of a weird taste in the mouth of people. There they go again. So what I'm saying is, and by the way, 1979, we had that particular problem. So just remember something. Irrespective of, this is exactly what McNamara said. Don't love these people. Don't hate these people. But understand their perspective. You cannot possibly understand what is going on unless you do that. In addition, today's going to be very hot. If you haven't heard, please be careful. Avoid all unnecessary flannel. Mr. Riffraff, thank you. Mr. Blaze, thank you. And thank you so much for listening. By the way, you can follow me at LionelMedia.com. Have a great and a glorious day. We'll see you again. And don't forget these parting words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.